I got time to pee? No, I'm good.
I don't want you to set nobody up. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very early stream.
Welcome.
Very early stream. Let me actually turn your microphone up a little bit more.
Welcome. Put it closer, yeah.
As close as you can, and
Welcome.
I'll really adjust to that. Ladies and gentlemen, hey. Let me get this situated real quick. So we got a special guest today.
I'm just a guest.
No, you a special guest.
I'm not special. I'm just a guest.
You come here twice. You a special guest. Maybe
Man,
after like the 10th
I'm about
time?
to start coming here like once a month, man.
Man, you always
Just
welcome.
once a month, I'm gonna pop up. You're gonna have stuff planned for that day.
Look.
That I come and I'm just gonna disrupt your whole podcast for the day. Everything you do in that day is gonna change.
You won't disrupt it. Like, if anything, you're going to become such a regular guest that I'm basically just going to be mixing while you're here. And it's just going to be like, all right, cool. But ladies and gentlemen, hold on, round of applause. Hold on. Baba Tunde is in the building.
Well, thank you.
Come on now.
Appreciate it.
So shout out
man,
to...
how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Let me acknowledge the chat real quick.
Okay.
Juxtapose Ed said, I'm starting college next month, I promise.
Word. Nah, man.
It's too late, bro.
Not next month, this month. February's not over yet, man.
You're sitting on YouTube at 11 a.m. Pacific time. You're making a decision that could change your viral beats. What's the deal? Chris A.K. Avedon, what's the deal? He said, I'm here.
Who said Baba Tunde?
That was a young gun Tank.
Tank. Thank you, Tank. See, use my full name, Baba Tunde.
Manners and respect, Curtis. Everest and chat. BWZ, there it is. Mr. Solo Key, KJS. How you doing?
What up, y'all? I just want to tell everybody what up. Thanks for joining us.
Man, let me turn this down. So we gotta tell a little bit about how we ended up back here again. Because I got questions for you that we haven't had a chance to really go over in detail, but just to paint the picture for those that are here that are trying to figure out what's going on. We usually do Mixing Monday, and we might still. I don't know. It depends on how the day plays out. But a few months ago, you may recall, more than a few months ago, I went on a journey, one of my first journalistic journeys, to find the infamous, as you put it, the infamous voice from a commercial that so many of you recognize, the Everest College commercial. And I went on a hunt trying to find, I was like, man, what is this man's name? I ran a Google search, and then I found his Instagram. And then my heart almost fell out my chest because he was already following me. And I was like, oh, is this just in divine order? I sent a DM at a crazy hour, like, he gonna ignore me. He ain't gonna see what's going on. But I reached out to him to see if I could do a podcast with him and then actually do a story about the story of the Everest College commercial. We do the video. The video does really well on YouTube. And as of recent, it's gone super viral on TikTok. Shout out to the young lady that shared it. I'm gonna pull her name up at some point. But
word, I'm on TikTok. We're on TikTok.
Crazy. Like I stopped. I got off of TikTok. I got off of TikTok to focus on YouTube. And my wife was like, you know, there's a clip from y'all interview going super viral right now. And I'm like,
really?
With who? I never met this lady before. And she shared it. First, she shared as a 3-part post. The first post was you guys remember this commercial, which I'm sure you see that a lot pop up on social media. Yeah. And the second one was, somebody found and had a conversation with them, and it was our conversation.
Okay.
And then third one was like a part 2 of that. But I think what people loved the most, from what I gather, was just seeing and get to know the human being beyond just the image and the vision of what they had, because a lot of folks obviously felt a certain way when that commercial came on.
Yeah.
But what they came to learn with our interview is that it's so much more at the foundation. Yeah. It's so much more.
And then the story. I hope the story inspired some people. Just the whole, me being a nobody and coming up with this plan that, came to fruition and influence for better or worse. And there was some, obviously some taken advantage of. I felt like, you know, I was taken advantage of a little bit, and the people were. Well, I'm not the victim at all.
Right.
But I had a guy reach out to me the other day. He posted something on one of my posts on Instagram. He said, yeah, I went to Everest and they still owe me money, and you lied about Everest. I'm like, man, you know, I feel like I was lied to too, homie. Don't think I was cashing your check. Personally, it wasn't me.
But they talk to you as if your name is Everest. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like I own it. Yeah. But it's all love, and I feel for those people that were taken advantage of. It's not like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't look at it as just whatever. Collateral damage or whatever. I feel for that, and had I known the kind of person I am, had I known that they were doing what they were doing, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't have signed up for that, or I wouldn't have wasted my idea on them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well,
in hindsight.
And I feel like the more I get to know you, man, the more that I first of all that I see how much we have in common, but also the more I get to see like how much you are a man of the people, and like if folks even knew, man, like, and I know that that's not something that you go around bragging about, but some of the stuff that you were telling me that you're doing to help others and just your mission. And I feel like you touched on that in our podcast interview, but to see it all come to fruition in different ways and the things that you're continuing to advance on, it shows like some people may think the act that they know us for is our best act. And it's like, nah, that's just the lead up to the very best representation of who we are and what we stand for.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, it's just human nature though, you know, like, you know, I see good actors, and you feel like, you know, sometimes you hate them. You might see them in real life, and they say, man, people see me in real life and they think I'm this character. You're like, man, fuck you.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's the same thing, but yeah, I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm a servant of Jesus, and I'm just trying to do his work. I'm not trying to preach or nothing, but that at the end of the day, that's the direction I'm headed. That's my motivation. You know, just trying to serve God and help people and make an impact on the community.
And look at this comment that just came through. That man looked young as a fresh avocado. What is all
this, Gray? What are you talking about?
Nah, like we.
You know what? I used to dye last time on my interview. This was all dyed black.
Okay. And
now I'm just owning it. Like I stopped dyeing it because it's just. You know what helped me stop dyeing it was Eldris Alba.
Really?
Because man, that brother, he was dark, and he made gray hair and salt and pepper look so dope. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my Edris on, you know?
Right.
But before Edris, I felt like every time my gray hair, I felt like Morgan Freeman. You know what I'm saying?
And having the deep voice to go along with it probably don't help.
Yeah,
appearance sake on that one, but it's like
that's the one thing I think I envy white people on. I did, at least I did before Edris.
Yeah,
because white guys would get the salt and pepper.
Yeah,
and they it's like George Clooney. You know?
Yeah, they get that class.
Yeah,
like classically timeless.
Yeah, and then black brothers, we get the salt and pepper. We look like Morgan Freeman. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no reference.
Why is that where the list stops though? Why does it begin and end with Morgan
Freeman?
It was
in my mind. You know, this is my mind thinking. Every time I would think of Glory or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I see the gray hair, I'd be like, oh my God, Glory.
Speaking of Morgan Freeman, fun fact I got for you. Did you know he played Malcolm X in the movie?
Did he?
Exactly. My grandfather or my grandmother went to some kind of like thrift shop or something.
Okay.
And they picked up a movie about Malcolm X. And like I love watching those movies about legendary black leaders, and I watched that movie and it was terrible. It was the facts were all wrong.
Oh my
God. They had Malcolm X reacting to the death of Martin Luther King.
Really?
Shut
wait. How old was Morgan?
He was super young. He was young enough to play like and
it couldn't have been a black director.
No, it had to be somebody who had a budget that was like, you want to do this Malcolm X story? Yeah. You gonna let me tell it? Morgan Freeman played Malcolm X, and I would never forget it because I was watching this movie like, this is not factually based. They even had a scene that implied that he was trying to get somebody to end his life. So he's just walking around the park frantically, and I'm like, all right, see, this is how dangerous media can be when you push your narratives. and then you're gonna use a young Morgan Freeman, but as you can see, he don't claim that movie.
That's crazy. You know what? I'm very protective of Malcolm X. Like, I think as black people, we got to be, but like,
yeah.
Other than biblical people, if I could go back and meet somebody, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying this as a Christian man.
Right.
Like, I would love to meet Malcolm X because I love his integrity. As a man, I aim to be on a Malcolm X level of integrity. He's like, even as a Christian man, my aim is to be incorruptible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To where God can trust me with ministries and I'm not lured away by women or money, or, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That I can maintain my integrity and serve regardless of what happens. You know what I'm saying? Be incorruptible, and that's what Malcolm represents to me. So yeah, I'm very protective of Malcolm. I'm still hurt that he died. You know what I'm saying? Like, just as much as Martin. But anyway, that's crazy.
But I love. Was
shocking.
it?
That's shocking. The whole Morgan Freeman.
I don't know if you want to see it. You just take my word for it because I seen it in the DVD. I watched it. I was like, oh, for sure. Why is this at the bottom of the pile? I was like, I gotta watch this. Yeah, I was not happy to watch that. But shout out to Morgan Freeman. Either way. Yeah. On the topic of integrity, though, and this is something I feel like we kind of hinted at the last time we had a conversation, but this is something that you came here full-fledged, and it kind of feels like that was really where you wanted to head to. What I'm talking about is the integrity of hip-hop as it stands today. As someone who's been a part of the hip-hop culture, as someone who's been enshrined or has been remembered in so many different ways through lyrics or through, comedy being an extension of the hip-hop culture. Yeah. You've seen it go through many, and as an artist yourself, you've seen it go through a lot.
I got to point this out real quick.
Please do.
I'm sorry, because it's ill to me, and I posted something on Facebook the other day. It's very, I appreciate the fact that these young kids, these 20-year-olds, they follow me on Facebook or Instagram, and then they'll message me, and they'll call me the GOAT, and, you the GOAT OG and all that stuff. And it's cool to be appreciated by the youth. Yeah. I just want to say that because I get a lot of people that follow me, and most of y'all I'll answer, or I'll love the message or something on Instagram when you private message me. But I just appreciate y'all love. I don't know. I just wanted
that's huge
to insert that while I was thinking about it.
Because there's folks right now that are like the most popular right now that get crucified on a regular for being known for something. I think that you just like. It's almost like that franchise player in the NBA. Like, you're franchised in as a memory that people think about. I think it's less about the reaction to the commercial and more about where people were at that point in time, and where I guess even like life was at. You think about how complex things are right now.
It was like a simpler time. Maybe it's nostalgic.
Yeah, where we had the time to have like daytime TV have an influence on our
attention.
lives.
That would even get our attention. Yeah, it's cool though, man. Like I there's one dude messaged me the other week, and people embellish a little bit. They always give you more credit than you deserve. Mm-hmm. But he was like, yeah, because of you, me and my two or three brothers graduated, and I'm a lawyer, and my brother's this, and they all got degrees and stuff.
Yeah,
he was nice enough to give me credit.
But why do you think that's in like adding extras to it? You don't think that having?
I'm sure they had other forces in their life.
Sure.
It's never just one factor, right?
Yeah.
I don't buy the new shoes. I don't buy a car just because of one factor. I don't buy shoes because of one factor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't buy into any idea because of just one factor. But I pushed a little bit. I appreciate getting that credit.
Yeah. Well, like I said in the video, you might have been the first voice that consistently aimed at one goal. Because even if it wasn't about going to that particular college, it was about doing something with your life.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wonder how many people, latchkey kids like myself, that didn't have anybody else in the household, not because they were being irresponsible, because they're working, all day, all night, two double shifts. And the only influences you have are people your age, teachers that may or may not care about your future, counselors that are there for a paycheck, and television. And I feel like my generation, that's why I feel like I can give a lot of perspective on it. My generation really was, in a lot of ways, raised by the television. for better or for worse.
Yeah,
We were raised by the television.
We were too. I think we're like 8 years apart or something. But yeah, my generation was too. I'm 77, growing up in the 80s. I was born in 77, growing up in the 80s. You know,
but they about to say, if you're 77,
I'm really looking good, huh? I deserve these gray hairs.
Oh man.
My
dog said, I'm sitting on the couch and watching TV, but at least I ain't procrastinating. Then what? He comes in peace, man. He comes in peace. Shout out my dog.
What I was gonna say, man, before we started rolling the cameras, we were talking about the All-Star game. We started talking about certain things, and Curtis asked me what I dislike most about this era of basketball. We're switching. This is how quick we switch, by the way.
For sure, yeah. We just had this conversation.
I'm just taking a left right now. But I wanted to answer it on camera, and then I wanted to have this discussion on camera to kind of break the ice. Just because we're fans of hip hop, we're fans of basketball.
That's where we connected first,
and they bleed over big time. But the Euro step pisses me off.
Why does the Euro step piss you off?
I don't know. I kind of think it's traveling. And hear me out. What if Wilt had the Euro step?
That'd have been unfair.
What if Jordan had a Euro step? What if Jordan, from the time he was 10, 7 years old, 8 years old, whatever, learned the Euro step, and he had that in his, like, there'd be a couple thousand more points scored. Yeah. What if Hakeem Olajuwon had the Euro step, homie?
Right. But I mean, isn't that part of the evolution of the game? No, like the 3-point, like imagine.
Looks like traveling.
I hear you, but there may be a generation of athletes that say, just playing devil's advocate, who say, well, y'all got the 3-point line. How many more points would have been scored had you gave Kareem the opportunity to shoot?
And I agree with that too.
You know what I mean?
You know, Kareem wasn't hitting no threes.
He hit one, I think.
I think he had 3. Yeah, he might have had 1 on 3 attempts his career. I don't know.
Yeah. The big man was a different game at that point. It wasn't really staying too far out. But if he had
grown up, if he had grown up in this era where he's taking threes at the start of the game, you know, what is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar if you grew up in the Stephen Curry age?
That's crazy.
Who is Michael Jordan if you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can't really say a GOAT, even though Jordan's GOAT, you know.
You know what's crazy? People gonna hate Jordan. People gonna hate me for saying this, especially as a Jordan, as Jordan fans. I feel like he would be closer to like an Anthony Edwards or like a DeMar DeRozan.
Michael Jordan,
in terms of just not who they are, not in terms of skill set, but I feel like the kind of players that they are, mid-range jumper, not heavily relying upon a 3. Mm-hmm. Folks who drive to the hole, like I feel like they're made in the same tree that Jordan starts, right? He becomes, at least in his generation, he becomes the top of the tree, and those folks end up becoming extensions of that. I feel like in this era, it'll be much different if he doesn't have a 3-point shot. I don't know if he gets the same calls that he got back then. Maybe he gets more calls.
Maybe. I don't. Yeah. I think no matter what was whatever mountain's in front of MJ, he's gonna climb it. So if they change the rules, he's just gonna make it look that much colder. I don't think it's like having a rule against Kareem Duncan, and so he does a sky hook. Like we're just gonna evolve, and that's the spirit of black people, really. Whatever mountain's in front of us, we're gonna climb it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I mean, it is what it is. You
Man,
know? Jordan to me is, it's like Jordan. Yeah, look, I was a Jordan stan, like for much of my life. I still kind of am. But like if when I was in junior high, if they would have sold vials of Michael Jordan sweat. I'm being real. I would have bought the sweat and applied it on me.
I'm not gonna lie. That's a 90s purchase, because I feel like at the same time they were selling like these are pieces of the cross. I feel like that was also like part of the infomercial era of that. But that's. I
love Jordan like that.
That's
like
a Jordan.
I was,
nobody gonna debate it. So obviously you give him GOAT status, even though LeBron just
the poetry, emotion. Like Jordan is Jordan, man. Like. I don't the both sides of the court.
Yeah.
Like, and then I think his physical attributes. LeBron can't palm the ball like Jordan could. Kobe couldn't palm the ball like Jordan could. Neither one of them could jump like Jordan. They both can jump, but I'm saying like turning in the air, manipulating body in air, and missing defenders, and
No, I hear what you're saying.
Jordan just had something different, man.
And
on both ends.
It was
on both ends.
I make the argument for both sides, and I feel like it was a lot more aggressive at that point in time for Jordan, because you talking about the bad boy Pistons towards the end of their run, making him have to get back in the gym and hit more weights.
Yeah,
because he couldn't take it. He couldn't.
The hand check.
Huh? The hand check. Yeah. But I do feel like the speed of this game dramatically different. When I look at games now, like when they replay them on NBA, I remember just watching some of these games. I just didn't recognize the speed difference until you start watching like NBA classic games, and you're like, damn, like the game was just played at a different pace. I remember the Cleveland Cavaliers were a team that would run that shot clock all the way until they could, all the way down. And
you talking about 80s and 80s Cleveland? Like
early 90s. I'm talking about pinstripe Cleveland Cavaliers before anything. Like I'm talking about who was a player for them at that point.
Like Mark Price, Larry Nance.
A little bit later than that.
A little bit after that.
A little later than that. This is like during the Jordan era. So probably like 95, 93, 94, 95.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
That's when you still could do it. Like you could run the clock all the way down, and they would have the lowest scoring games. And the NBA was like, we gotta change this.
Yeah.
This is not basketball. But I feel like when you look at those games, that you recognize that certain things were valued that weren't valued as much. The extra pass, like the speed of an offense. So much of that just feels like it has shifted. But
but that's all Steph Curry, man. This era is, and I appreciate this era. I don't want to see it go back. I wanted to see it evolve.
Except for the Euro step.
Except for the Euro step, man. Euro step is traveling, man. They travel too much. That's
a real brand.
That's my only gripe.
That's your only gripe. Yeah, I get it. When I first saw it, I was like, no, there's no way in hell you're not gonna call that a travel.
Yeah.
But then when you run the tape back, you recognize according to the rules.
Yeah, technically,
even though it looked like it, I don't care what they say, it looked like it. But we're talking about the integrity of the game. I really want to get into this conversation with you because I feel like this is something that is relatable to all folks who are in here. The majority of the folks in here are music producers. They're artists. They're independents. They're DIYers, as we call them. And they have a lot of the same gripes that I have with how the culture is today, in that hip-hop has shifted in so many dramatic ways, so many positive ways and so many negative ways. And I'm curious, because we want to talk about top fives and all the stuff that you came. I know you came with a list, so if you got to break that list out,
stuff I want to
stuff you want to address, and I want you to have the platform to do that here. And I know the folks here appreciate you being here, but
I just think some things need to be said, and I hope it gets back to even the artists.
Yeah,
like I don't know, hip hop. When you're us and you love hip hop so much, it's like a heartfelt thing, right? And culture is very, very interesting to me because at one point, I'm 46 right now, just turned 46. Aquarius,
now Aquarius guy. Here we go.
Aquarius. But like, as I age, when I was younger, I'll start when I was younger. When I was younger, when I was in my teens, I wanted to be Ice Cube. I wanted to be Snoop. I wanted to be Redman and Method Man, and I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to be Drez from Black Sheep. I wanted to be these people, right? Because they were cool, because I admired their talent. Bottom line, because I admired their talent, and then if they looked cool or acted cool or whatever, that was extra. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're a youth, your identity gets lost in that stuff. You dig what I'm saying? And hip hop's a different. It's a different media than like a movie. I also watched Tombstone. I thought Doc Holliday was cool. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't try to mimic his mannerisms.
Right.
Like I would an Ice Cube or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that. I remember there was an era of 50 Cent where like you would not catch a black male my age not having a wave cap underneath a fitted cap. Like 50 Cent, like I would even see dudes that last week did not have a slur in their speech all of a sudden talking like they got shot in the mouth. Like 50 did. Like,
it's funny how we mimic, right? I remember when everybody sounded like Jigga in 96, 97.
That's an era.
Everybody was sounding like Jay. But my point is, as you age and as you become a man, and you get comfortable in your skin and you discover your identity, not something you're trying to emulate. You know what I'm saying? I used to walk in high school with the tissue in my nose trying to be Redman. You know what I'm saying?
What was that?
Afro
I
pick.
missed that era. What was the tissue in the nose?
Oh, that's 92. Redman came out with the tissue in the nose.
I had never
and
saw
the
that.
Afro pick. And so me and my boy Joey, we would be walking to high school looking like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool because we saw it on the video anyway.
Yeah.
But there's some point you get to in it's you're comfortable in your own skin, your own identity, and you start developing that guy, not emulating these people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so culture has a big gravity on us individually and collectively. You know what I'm saying? And it just seemed to me like at some point I got to break with culture. And to me, it really hit me in the head when Kanye was doing his little Trump thing, doing his little Trump dance, and everybody was making excuses for Kanye.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, if this culture that I love is moving in this direction, fuck the culture.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm an individual. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I say that online. I post political and stuff, but I always say stuff like, if I'm in a group, if I start in a group and I start following this group because I like the rhetoric, I like what they say, and all of a sudden I'm following them and walking down this path, and after 20 miles of walking with this group, I come to find out every other person in the group is a rapist but me.
That changes everything.
I need to leave this group. And so I always say that about conservatives, right? Like they cool and they're all right. They're comfortable sharing views and ideas and all that with racists. They're cool with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't have any like, wait, I'm around these crazy individuals. I need to leave this group.
Right.
And so I always criticize Republicans for not being that. So at the same time, I have to be that. I can't be a hypocrite. So when I see my culture that I love dearly, my two first loves were basketball and hip hop.
Yeah.
I don't even know which was first. But and I grew up in that era as a late 70s baby. But if I see my culture moving in a direction that I strongly oppose, I'm me before I'm that culture at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not young and impressionable anymore. I've created my,
Well, to play devil's advocate, this is what I wonder about that. Isn't what you're doing by opposing where the culture is currently at, isn't that by definition like the rebellious nature of hip hop?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's hip hop to make that decision. Is what I'm getting at.
And hip hop from the get go was pro-black, was very revolutionary. It was the spirit of the Panthers. We were coming off of that. You know what I'm saying? And so from the get go, if you listen to Beat Street and the Message and all that, it's very black empowerment, and like from the get go, that's what hip hop was.
Yeah.
So to have like the great, one of the so-called greatest producers ever, one of people's favorite rappers ever, try to skew these lines on some like Hitler wasn't so bad and Trump this and nigga, you don't read a book, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then he's leading the impressionable youth, and that's my concern, because this chump is leading the impressionable youth,
right? And
then so these same dumb niggas is like, oh, flat Earth is flat, and Trump's not bad. No, what couldn't? And it's just like, I don't. Yeah, man.
And we're living in a time where you can find enough literature, enough information on the internet to back any narrative. I remember I had to do a Black History project in high school that required me to do research on like the Klansman websites. And one of the things that I had to pull from were like their mission statement, their beliefs, and I was blown away to see like they had lists decrediting every black inventor's invention and why it was inaccurate and who actually was there, who actually did what and this and that. And it's like,
really,
the fact that can exist out there lets me know that if you make it look good enough, right? If you make it look clear enough, that's where we talk about the digital age and we talk about cameras and phones. And if you say it loud enough, people tend to believe it. irregardless of how they were raised, irregardless of using their common sense, because what's common sense anymore?
Yeah, but think about what you just said. The Klan had a list of everything, all the accomplishments, not just inventions, right? Any accomplishment, or not accomplishment, but I guess it was inventions, right? So they denounced every black
like George Washington Carver and the peanut butter, the traffic light, the filament in the light bulb.
But it continues, and this is my point, though. But that notion and that spirit and that insecure, that is what the Republican Party is with critical race theory, like in them being afraid of truth, and it's the same thing, right? If they're like, okay, we don't need to hear from a slave's perspective, let's water down slavery. Let's water down Jim Crow. We don't need to hear about Oklahoma City, the Black Wall Street. We don't need to hear about. We don't, because we don't want to offend white people. We don't want them to feel good. Like all of us have rapists in our ancestry.
Right.
Everybody living has a rapist in their ancestry. Everybody living has a piece of shit in their ancestry. Everybody living has a saint or somebody who is very good and godly. So I don't understand, anyway.
I was gonna say, and this is kind of why I stray from like political conversations, only because I want to give everybody an opportunity to speak on what they believe, and I feel like you got every right to it. If I got a right to believe what I believe, you got a right to.
Yeah.
But I will say the one thing that has bothered me the most for the party that I've done most voting for, like with the Democratic Party, is how arrogant the message has become about you owe me your vote as a black American. Like you owe me your vote. Hearing Biden say the things like, you're not black if you don't vote for me, is a level of arrogance that goes, and I know no party is, that's why I back away from the entire thing, because I'm like, no party is perfect. Obviously, there's some more obvious flaws that have been showcased over the last.
One party we don't have it. And I hear you, and it's funny. I had this conversation with a dude. Super Bowl was in Phoenix. We just kicked ass. But
I know y'all happy over there in Phoenix, by the way.
We made some money out there.
Y'all don't need Kevin Durant. Why y'all get Kevin Durant? We'll talk about that later.
Okay, But anyway, a guy came to me, said the same thing, and I'm like, we don't even have a chance on one party. If you go look at their elected people, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, and they're I don't like to use certain terms, but we don't even have a chance on one side. They're not even inclusive on one side.
Yeah.
All of their senators are white and mostly men on one side. So it's like backing up from the whole thing. I understand. I'd rather correct. It's to me, it's like a family thing. I'd rather correct my family than give up on my family.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't even have a chance on one side, but I don't know. We only have a chance. We only have a chance on one side. Only one side is even considering equality, and it's a big tent. Maybe I don't go so hard on trans issues or certain issues or whatever, but I still agree in that equality.
Right.
We're over here. They're not even giving us that. They don't even agree in equality. They believe in guns and all. Anyways, I don't want to get too political because I know it's your podcast.
And that's the thing about it. Like even on this channel, like I stray away from it because I feel like, man, it's already so many things going on in the world that are pushing for that to be the topic of conversation. It's sometimes music is the only thing that allows us to get away, but then it's like we can't even get away with music now because now it's not even the fact of music becoming political. To me, it's the scariest part is that the very social medias and the very music that we use is now being used as a weapon. And
I don't like being infiltrated. I don't like my culture being infiltrated from within.
Yeah.
That was just my whole thing about Kanye and all that. I don't like to it's very disheartening, and it's like, it goes back to what I say. We're the worst generation of parents. My generation's the worst generation of parents. We didn't teach our kids. I taught my daughters.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I taught my daughters because I love them more than anything, and I want them to have the information, and I want them, you know what I'm saying? But not everybody had that same love, I guess, or whatever. Didn't have the knowledge that I had to give them, or whatever. And it just kind of pisses me off that, we're at a point we could be infiltrated from within.
Well, I think that's also the scariest thing is that we talk about infiltration. We were talking about like earlier today. We were talking about kind of the nature of like COINTELPRO and all these different things that have come before us. It's a scary time because the infiltration doesn't have to come from somebody who's an outsider. The infiltration is being done, it feels like, within a culture voluntarily by people that look like us, who are willing to push any agenda in the name of capitalism, in the name of me, in the name of I got to get mine.
Yeah.
It seems like even at one time hip hop was supremely censored or attempted to be censored by the government. Now it's like we do it to each other. Like the worst censors now. The worst censors now are is social media and a
trolls,
an egg account, trolls, or even an egg account that's not a troll, but they just want to be messy, and they'll go find a bunch of tweets that you said in this year, and all of a sudden you got the celebrity that is apologizing for decisions they made at 17, 16, and I'm not saying it excuses it, but I'm saying like, where's the accountability on both sides? If you have the ability to pull up somebody's information, why do we never seek or even look to see the person that pulled it and see what kind of skeletons you got in your closet? If we're gonna play this game, it's an unfair advantage. So now I look at it like we're in a time where anybody can come up with a narrative. I started getting discouraged, Babatunde, when I started seeing like, I was like, this is gonna be the weirdest example, but I started feeling like, I was like, oh, this is going to hell. This is going to hell. This don't make no damn sense. When people were protesting the Starbucks Christmas cups.
Oh. Wait, people were really like,
that's a thing right
up in arms about it?
Like, they were pissed. Like, but the narrative.
What about the cups were they pissed off about?
Years ago, I want to say it was like 2017, 18. This is like before like hypersensitive culture really took off. This is like, to me, it felt like towards the beginning, where there was someone who protested Starbucks' use of Christmas colors, of pushing Christmas on people who maybe are atheists.
Oh my gosh.
And so they made this whole big thing about it, and Starbucks, being in the name of, trying to be inclusive and not trying to, obviously kill their bottom line, they adjusted the cups to where it was less Christmas decorations and more like just the colors of the season. And it's like, when you have that much freedom, when you have that much power as a consumer to shift things, I'm always concerned about what is the source of that thing trying to change things. Could it be a 12-year-old? And now are we applying rules and standards based upon the underdeveloped brain of a 12-year-old who sees a void or an opportunity to go viral off of something? That's what I'm thinking about now.
It's definitely an underdeveloped brain. I don't know if it's 12 years old,
right?
12, but it's very. To me, it's just all insecurities.
Absolutely.
I almost feel like the root of evil is insecurity. It's just a bunch of insecurity, and why would you? I don't know. I could look around this room, and you have a wonderful room in here recorded, but I could look around the room, and if I get in my feelings, I guess I could maybe find something that offends me. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing offends me outright, but like I guess if I look hard enough, I could look at your floorboards or something.
Why you got Sade in the corner? Why Sade not front and center? Why you got Dylan over here?
Why would you have Sade in the corner, homie? That don't even make sense, man. What the fuck is wrong with you?
So I can peek up at her? No, I'm playing.
That's my funny. Wife, I have Sade in my house. Right when you walk in my living room door, my living room door from outside. You see Sade.
Did you see? That's crazy how much we have in common. Did you see when you first walked in here? On the right side, there's a gold picture of Sade up there.
Really?
I don't know how I got away with that. Shout out to my wife, but I don't know how I got away with that for so long.
It adds femininity though. A picture of Sade in a male home, I think it brings a balance.
Yeah.
I got a bachelor pad for all intents and purposes, but that Sade just it softens it up just enough. And she's right next to my action figures, my basketball action figures. So it brings a balance,
See, and it's one of them things where somebody will walk in there and feel a sense of warmth, and I feel like she's a universal figure that represents like relaxation.
Yes,
represents like
her
comfort,
voice, her aura. She ain't hood. She ain't petty.
No controversial. She don't.
Probably is petty.
We
only
never,
to her dude though. Everybody else.
See, I got this image in my head. I remember I used to go to the dentist. Crazy story. I used to go to the dentist, And as they were drilling in my teeth, I started like really understanding the idea of visualizations. And I would close my eyes. That's when I was singing. I'd close my eyes, and as they're drilling into my teeth, I would imagine I'm on a beach with Sade, and she was asking me if I wanted a little bit more tea. I just make a whole scenario up. I was like, she was like, I made pancakes. I was like hearing in her voice, and for some reason that calmed me down so damn much. Okay. They were able to do their procedure.
Okay.
You know, now
that's funny.
I better not see no Sade when I better not see that with my wife.
That's
Let
funny.
it be. She get mad when she starts seeing me buying Maya t-shirts.
That's funny.
But yeah, absolutely.
All right, we taking another left real quick just because it's in my head.
Let's go.
Who are your top 5? We're gonna do some top 5 stuff. Y'all like top 5s? If y'all like top 5s, give a comment.
Yeah, matter of fact, y'all
want some interaction.
Give us the question first, and then I'm gonna pose that to them in here while I got the chat in here. We're doing top 5s. Top
5 producers in hip hop history. It's not era. It's not era driven. Mm-hmm. It's from the start of hip hop to now.
All right, I'm about
hip hop producers.
About to put a question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that question. No, that's a poll. I can't do that there. All right, list y'all top 5 producers. Type them in.
All eras.
Eras.
It's not about. Just top 5.
Who is that for you?
I don't know. I just wanted to kind of have it. I can name a few. I know Teddy Riley right off the bat.
Teddy Riley. The birth
like
of
the stuff he's
Swing.
done, yeah. But the stuff he's done, I think he did. Was it the show or Lottie Dottie? One of them. Like that goes way back.
Yeah.
And just the impact and Teddy Riley. I'd probably say Dre.
Mm-hmm.
I can't like. I can't.
My list keeps shifting. Okay, I'm gonna try to run these off. I'm gonna run these off.
You know.
Okay, I see a few. I see. Let me highlight these actually while we're here. Yeah, I promise y'all not gonna influence mine. But Holla Sound said Timbaland, Dr. Dre, Dag Nabbit, and whoever produced for Outkast. Organized Confusion.
Organized Noise.
Organized Noise. I'm tripping. Modern Freeman said No Order, Dilla, Madlib, Alchemist, Pharrell, Dre. Woo!
That's nice. I like that.
That's starting 5 right there. Avedon said Jay Dilla, Primo, Kanye, Just Blaze, Dr. Dre.
Okay, I like that.
Young Bull here, but Pharrell has always been on number 1. Dog is talented. You ain't never lied about that.
Yeah.
All right, so Dilla, Neptunes.
Okay.
This is harder than I thought. Even though I have a difference.
Producers might be harder than rappers.
It is, because rappers, MCs. I got that off the top.
Yeah.
So Dilla, Neptunes, Ninth Wonder.
Nice.
Actually, no, skip that. Just Blaze.
Okay.
Just Blaze. Dilla, Neptunes, Just Blaze. Man, I'm gonna put the homies now. Stolen Drums, and it's a tie for Tay Beast and Willie B.
Okay.
Lies. It's a tie, a 3-way tie. Tay Beast, Willie B, and Oh Gosh Leotis. That's my guy.
Okay.
Right? Like my favorite producers have now become
your peers or
my peers, but it's not even just because they're my peers, but because they literally represent the freedom that I no longer hear in my favorite producers. I start to hear my favorite producers and hear the business in their music, and it makes me less of a fan.
Oh.
I hear the business decisions and their holding back of certain instrumentation and their minimalism. I understand the purpose of it. I get it. I respect it. I salute it. But those who have this wild imagination, like I was talking to Willie B a week ago in here about the beat he did for Ignorance is Bliss and how the timing of certain things, the swing of the drums, doesn't make sense years and years later. Like that's just something that right now, that's why my list always changes. It always shifts
Yeah.
At one point, Dre was definitely up there. I see a lot of folks mentioning Dre, but those who, for me, in my list, those who beat Dre are the people who stayed consistent.
Okay. No, I get it. Dr. Dre does have ups and downs, and
or he just disappears.
Yeah. He disappeared for 10 years or whatever. I get it.
He got that Sade effect. Like, I'm still gonna listen when he pops up, but in terms of a top 5 list, like, I'm noticing that I used to have Timbaland in that top 5, but I'm just like now so emotionally moved by music that has the intent to move me emotionally, whether or not a rapper raps over it or not. I just feel like I'm more like, I'm sorry, like Flying Lotus is another one that's like an honorable mention.
Yeah, they dope. Yeah. Hey, but see, what trips me out is, and this is some of the frustration I have as a fan. Like I'm not shitting on DJ. What's the big dude's name out of Miami? K-Slay, is that his name?
No,
that's not K-Slay.
You talking about Khaled?
Khaled,
my unofficial twin.
I'm sorry, K-Slay.
My unofficial twin in here.
Yeah, you ain't, y'all ain't twins.
Thank you.
But,
Thank you.
Nah,
Finally, somebody said it.
Somebody clowning.
The whole internet be clowning. That's what they do to me, man. They be like, I thought this was so and so. You didn't think that was so and so.
That's funny. Nah, but like, I'm not dissing Khaled at all, right? But like, that instrumentation on the Jay-Z verse was dope, like phenomenal. But like, I'm a hardcore hip hop fan, and that beat is wiggity whack to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to replay that beat. I don't want, and I don't even, and I'm kind of confused, like why Jay would give that to him. See, what I'm saying is the relationships behind sometimes frustrate me.
Business decisions,
because like, okay, Jay-Z's always like, I do it for culture. Nigga, that was a phenomenal verse on a whack beat to me.
Man.
And then like the stuff I listen to, like Griselda and I love Rock Marciano. Rock Marciano saved my life, homie.
Man.
Honestly, because before him, hip hop was going a direction and I was losing the taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
He brought the flavor back.
Yeah.
Honestly. And his production with the Alchemist, and oh my God,
that's another name. Like Alchemist is another one that's just like,
yeah. But I never, like, if you would have told me in the 80s and 90s, oh, you're gonna like loops with no drums and rappers rapping over, I would have been like, whatever, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
It's a breath of fresh air though now, right?
But I love that. I love that. I bump that more than anything. That's just me, because I'm a purist, not a tourist when it comes to hip hop. I love lyricism. I love rappers. I don't like anything on the radio, and it's been like that since '88. You know what I'm saying?
Look at this list real quick. Keith Benson says Shock G, Premier, Sam Snead, JD, DJ Quick, and MJG.
Okay,
that's a strong list.
That's very
I
West
like the
Coast.
variety.
I love that though.
I like the variety.
Shock
in this
G,
list.
Shock G is so.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Thank you for mentioning Shock G. God bless the dead. Rest in peace, Shock G. But like,
rest in peace.
Shock G is so underrated. Okay, this is a good example. How come Redman and Shock G didn't do an album together? Like,
I have to assume label politics of some kind.
If I was God, I would have made that happen. You know what I'm saying? If I was God, I love hip hop, I would have said, you know what? Nah, y'all need to get together. Why wouldn't an Eminem or a Jay-Z go to a rock? Like, I want to hear an Eminem album produced by Rock Marciano. I want to hear a Jay-Z album only produced by the Alchemist and Rock Marciano.
Yeah.
And maybe Nas's homeboy, Hit Boy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear.
You gotta.
Hit Boy is another one.
He's gonna be another one that's gonna be. Eventually it's gonna be. And it's not that these folks haven't done things worth being in your top 5. Like, you guys are mentioning a lot of names that somebody said, a viral beat said Prince Paul. Like, yeah, these are folks who are monumental in terms of the culture shifting. But I think that top 5 lists are innately biased.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're supposed to be. Right?
It's what you listen to.
It's what you love. What represented for you. So
Premier's. I got to put Premier.
Damn.
Premier's my third. Premier's my fourth.
Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. Take away my hip hop card for a second. Premier to me at one point in time was like the epitome of like capturing a moment in hip hop that I was like was behind us in terms of like it was the scratching, it was like the lyric. I was like, I know that's innately hip hop and that's the culture. But when folks would do that to my records, it felt like unless you're Premier, you ain't gonna get away with that. Folks gonna be like, oh, you're trying to capture a golden era. So there was a time period where like I rebelled against the sound because it sounded very like minimalist. But the better I got at production, the more I understood the genius of Premier. Yeah. So in the beginning, I didn't understand it. I was just like, all right, that's a classic name. He produced a lot of classic records, a lot of my favorite Nas records too. But that Gangstar, like, of course.
The New York State of Mind Part 2. Like the first one blows my mind.
No, 2.
But awesome. Then the second one, how he loops it.
Yeah.
And it's emotional. I get emotional when I hear that loop because it's so dope. Like New York State, man, Premier is a goat.
Nas is like,
yeah.
That was another one. That was that like the utilization of the birds in the background, like having the wherewithal to know that adding this sound effect. I think that's when I started to really understand it. Was when I had that Nas album. Was that the Nas I Am album, or was it Nas is Like? What was that called? I forget which one.
I can't remember either.
Because that one had You Can Hate Me Now. That had so many different records on there that made me like become.
Might be I Am.
I think it is I Am. Okay, Abaddon just said I Am. Yeah, that was the one that for me I was like, I did not always understand Premier's production until that album, and I was like, this is peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Especially because I feel like Nas hasn't always had the best choices in beat selection all the time.
Yeah, him and Tupac.
You think Tupac didn't have a good?
I don't
really.
Like, I just think like his later work. I don't know. I love Tupac. I'm not dissing Tupac, but for me the beats weren't. I don't know. Maybe it's because I never liked commercialized hip hop. Like what's the Tupac song with Dr. Dre?
How Do You Want It?
No.
California Love. How you feeling? I'm tripping. That's How Do You Want It? California Love. Yeah.
I never was feeling that, and I'm sorry. I know people are gonna hate me, but I never liked stuff that was on the radio because it was forced down your throat. So the records, even though they were great, the one record I loved that was super on the radio, Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See.
That was a record.
I think that record is genius. It was the most non-commercial sounding song that they played 24/7. Because the video, it was so dope. Like
yeah. Hit me with the delays of what you're saying,
man,
yo.
They played that.
What the dilly, yo.
Man, they played that so, but I loved it every time they played it. It wasn't like I'm Coming Out, Puffy and Diana Ross. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
a production. It wasn't a Broadway production of a hip hop song. And I feel like maybe when we hear more stories as these artists and producers kind of shy away from the limelight, we'll understand like that record had to happen to give way to this record that we did like that hit the commercial appeal. Like, does that open the door for conversations for a Busta Rhymes record? Or if that song being so popular, does that later on make way? It sounds like a crazy theory, but does that make way for a Nas's I Know I Can? Because of how much it pushes into the mainstream, does now that create a conversation or a domino effect that prepares an audience for a certain type of because even like with Biggie was gonna spit no matter what song he was on, commercial or not. Biggie was gonna be Biggie.
Yeah. And
I feel like maybe that's part of the process of what shifts the sound of mainstream music.
Let me ask you this: how'd you feel about the RZA? I love the RZA. That's another producer we didn't mention.
Yeah.
And I think as time goes by, he doesn't get like if you were to say RZA in '97, be like hell yeah, the RZA, and, you know what I'm saying. But as time goes on, his influence is it's kind of diminished a little bit.
Here's what I wonder.
I don't like that.
Here's what I wonder, and this is just like I said, playing devil's advocate. Would I, as a West Coast listener, understand RZA as much without Wu-Tang? What is the experience of me listening to those instrumentals? Do I have the same experience without Wu-Tang? And I feel like
without the Wu-Tang rhymes,
without the Wu-Tang concepts, without the kung fu imagery, without everything that comes along with that. Like, yeah, because he did Viral Beast just said he did great work on Kill Bill. He's done amazing scoring and things after the Wu-Tang experience, but for me, it was almost like when I listened to the production, I don't know if I feel the same way if I heard the production before the raps. Not that it's bad, I just don't know if I feel the same way or strongly about it without hearing like Method Man's raspy voice over this and him Ghostface Killah. Like, if I don't hear these voices that are attached to it, does it feel as like as grimy? Does it feel like as appealing? Because when you hear them getting off on that, it's just like, oh, what is this? Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm in the subway. Never been in the subway. I feel like I'm in the subway, and like, you know, all the stuff that they talking about, I feel like I'm walking along with them as I listen to them on my headphones. But that was always my thing with RZA. Is like, same thing with Premier. I feel like that's just a West Coast bias for me. Okay. And that I had to hear an artist that appealed to my ears in a Nas for me to be like, shit, I get it now.
Where did you grow up? Where did your dad bump? I'm just curious.
If it wasn't like,
what were your parents' influence, your parental influences?
Man, all over the place. All over the place. Like, moms would play. Okay, let me give Pops first. Pops would play everything from Earth, Wind, and Fire, Confunction. Okay. He would play Cameo. He would switch from there, and then he would play like Eazy-E. Or he would play Ice Cube. He would play.
Oh, your pops was hip.
Yeah, like he found a way to like mesh those together. This is why I have such a variety in my palette. But then Pops would listen to them, and I go to Mom's, and Mom's was like the one who played music. So I would listen to Marvin Gaye, Lionel Richie, Wham. Okay. She exposed me to like, and then I remember one day I went in her cassette tape and her album collection, and I found a Scarface cassette.
Really?
I was like, hey, Mama.
That first solo album?
I don't know if it was the first. It was one that had a piano in it, because this is what I'm getting ready to say. Okay. I pulled the tape out. I was like, hey, Mama, Christian woman, what you doing with this Scarface in your collection? Because I met her after, you know, she was a young woman or whatnot. Yeah. And I said, Mama, what's up with this scarf? I said, it's yours? She said, I like the piano in it. I said, I bet you do. You got it for the piano, huh? But Mom's kind of gave me another variety, another side of things where I really couldn't stick to one genre and not appreciate, like, you listen to a Lionel Richie or even like Hall & Oates. Mom's was like more well versed in these type of. Okay. So having that mesh just literally created chaos in a young musician's mind that I'm just now making sense out of today. Okay.
In a good way.
In a good way. Chaos, in a good way. Because I wanted to do everything. Like, Mom's exposed me to a Bootsy Collins vinyl and would sit me down with the Bootsy Collins vinyl and be like, what instruments do you hear? Oh, okay. And I would like think about the layers, and I'm like, I think that's a piano. She's like, no, that's actually a Rhodes. Okay.
How old were you when this was going on? This is cool.
10, 11, 12 maybe.
Okay. That's dope.
Because like we were living with my grandparents. My grandparents still had all the vinyl collection. Like my grandfather had Curtis Mayfield. Okay. Matter of fact, my grandmother was a Mayfield, so she was related to Curtis Mayfield. Oh, wow. So that got a lot of play in the house. But it's like the range of music, and music was so important in that household. It just made it crazy that when I started doing music, not everybody was in agreement with it. And it's like, well, what do you expect to happen when you grow a child up in a music environment?
That's crazy.
What about yourself? Like, what were you kind of growing up on?
A lot of the same stuff. Yeah. My dad was a more musical person. But a lot of the same stuff. He was big on jazz. John Coltrane, Miles Davis. I still have a lot of the records. I remember some of my first things. Some of the first music I remember hearing is Off the Wall. Okay. I remember being little. You know, my parents would be like, clean up. We had an apartment. Most of my life I lived in the house, you know, early on my parents had an apartment until I was like 2. Yeah. So I remember that apartment like picking up after myself or whatever, listening to Off the Wall. Man. But like my favorite things, what is it? John Coltrane, my favorite things. I can't listen to any John Coltrane and not think of my father.
That's how I feel about Curtis Mayfield. Yeah. I cannot think of my grandfather because he would as loud as he can.
That's dope. But my dad would bump Carlos Santana,
Man,
Bob
yeah.
Marley.
Yeah.
You know, he would bump some, you know, he'd get in some moods where he'd bump some what could be considered rock, because most of the stuff is rhythm and blues, soul,
Right.
jazz, period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I say jazz, bebop, we'd never listen to Kenny G in my house, ever. My dad would curse at the station. You know what I'm saying?
That's what my grandfather was too. It's funny. That's funny.
Never,
yeah.
never. And I'm glad for it.
No smooth jazz. No smooth jazz in the house.
Yeah,
What you saying?
Nah. It was, you know.
No cover songs of no smooth jazz cover songs of George Clinton.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Me and my roommate were talking. We were talking about how shout out to Rip-a-Cut, Angel. You heard of Busta Rhymes? My roommate's name is Rip-a-Cut.
Okay.
Like, that's his rap name. I've known him 20 years.
Word.
We met him when we were both in rap groups and, you know, that kind of thing. But great guy. We were talking about how the different races express differently, right?
Okay.
And so like we were talking about, because he was like, man, I thought Kenny G was killing it, you know, because he grew up in a different household. He's like, man, I thought Kenny G, I thought everybody liked Kenny G, and I was like, nah, you know. And so since he's been staying with me, I'll play some jazz, and so he's like, oh, okay, I get it. He gets it now. But we were talking about that in terms of like church, and how like black people as a race, we've been through shit. We've been through stuff. We know what deep hurt and pain and anguish and all that stuff is,
right?
You know, through the last 500 years or 400, you know, whatever. And it comes out in our expressions, whether it's Denzel,
right?
Whether it's you know, whatever. Like I can't stand. I'm a Christian person. I can't stand Christian music. I love gospel music.
Yeah.
There's soul. I feel something. You know what I'm saying? When I go to certain churches, our God is an awesome God. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, yeah, you're singing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you technically.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's the difference between when you know somebody got a story behind.
Man, but just how you go to a black church and how she sings Amazing Grace. And it's from here. It's from a place of hurt and maybe redemption and like, man, I feel that. I want to go to the altar when I hear her sing. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you this.
It's bringing me to tears, and it brings me to the altar. But I go to some of these other churches, and I'm not dissing races or nothing. I'm just saying they're not as expressive, and most of the time they're not as talented. Like it's not like the best singers are singing up there. You know what I'm saying? It's usually the pastors. Well, anyway, I'm not dissing church.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy because I think that everybody is met where they're at. And whatever
in terms of God,
and well, in terms of God, but also in terms of what has an impact on them. But I think that one thing that cannot be denied is like the universal language that people tend to understand, even if they don't understand the language, is pain. Amen. And when you hear like there's certain like white rockers and white R&B singers that are like, when they say like, oh, that white boy got soul, or they say something like you hear that you come from a different background. Like when I listened, like I wasn't a big Johnny Cash fan. I didn't understand it until I watched the movie. Watched the movie, and then I started seeing like the stories that sort of help paint who he is. I never forget there was a scene where he was trying to get signed to this local label, and he was singing his songs that he thought that the guy wanted to hear, and he was like, I don't want to hear none of this shit. I need you to play me the song that you would play. Your life's getting ready to end. You're getting ready to get hit by a train. Tell me the experience of how this life has been for you. And the way he sings, it may not sound like black soul, but shit, it sounds like universal soul. So I get what you're saying, but I feel like it's meant to be like that for us and to feel like that way for us, because it's like
maybe it's more easily accessible in us.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can access it easier because it's always being in America for, you know, as black people. It's more surface.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm saying is that feeling and emotion and that pain, it's always right there.
Right.
It's always been right there and accessible.
And we'll get it a different way too. When certain things are said, like even like the importance of saying the words that grandma used to tell me, things like this, like that may have a different connotation if you haven't had, or a different relation or context if you didn't have that big mama relationship, right? or if your grandmother wasn't the glue that kept the family together, right? Mm-hmm. If meals weren't the thing that kept your family together, or the reason why you saw your family 3 or 4 times a year,
like soul food.
Yeah. So certain things may just be a delicious plate of food for somebody else, but it's like, nah, this makes me feel like warm and whole and connected to family. And I feel like that's that nuance that maybe I don't even get when I listen to certain music. Like even for like an artist like a Billie Eilish, right? I didn't get it. I got it, but I didn't get it. And then I heard a song called Ocean Eyes, and I was like, yo, she could either be putting on the greatest acting I've ever heard, but something about that song was like, all right, I get the same feelings I get when I listen to Sade on a song like this, because it's warm, it's understanding, it sounds like a voice of understanding in a world where everybody's just trying to get your attention, and trying to like pound at your pain points or pound at, because even I feel like this is my issue I have with like independent artists sometimes. Not underground, I should say, not even independent, underground artists, how they don't talk about the bullshit in the mainstream. They do talk about the bullshit in the day-to-day life, and that I'm broke, the government's coming after me, da-da-da-da-da-da. It gets to a point where it's like, you wouldn't want to homie that's all they talk about is how the world is just a certain way. It's important, the conversations are important, but when you grace your whole music behind mantras that encourage folks to embrace doing shit just for the love, I think it just puts us in certain places that are like, I don't know, it just feels like it doesn't contribute as much to the growth as we give it credit to.
I don't know. I don't listen to no music like that. Like, have you heard Lupe Fiasco's newest album?
I have.
I love that. Like, and let me give you some background. I was not a big Lupe fan. I like Kick Push from back in the day and all that, but he wasn't on my radar like that.
Yeah. And
somebody gave a review talking about his album was great and he needs to get his flowers, and I was like, really? So I checked it out, and I was amazed by Lupe Fiasco's last album. From that talking about the mall, the mall song, like the kiosk song, the whole album front to back is dope as shit. But he doesn't talk about how broke he is, and you know what I'm saying, like or even like a Rock Marciano, who's been my favorite rapper the last 5 years. He's almost rapping in character. He's almost like an MF Doom to me. Very pimpish type.
It's just the energy that come along. As soon as the record drop, you know what's MF Doom.
But what I love about Rock Marciano and MF Doom is, to me, they do more with less. They do more with less. Like, they're not animated like, say, a Busta Rhymes and all. You know what I'm saying? And they're not gonna. They'll have a simple loop with no drums, and they'll say the most illest shit I've ever heard over it. Rock Marciano got this track called Choosing Fees, where he's a pimp talking to one of his hoes or whatever, his prostitutes, and the whole conversation is so slick, and that's not even some stuff that I'm for as a man. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not for pimps or prostitutes or nothing. But the way he puts it together is so slick. It's one of the dopest songs I've ever heard in my life.
Look, you brought up Lupe. I gotta spit the beginning of this verse. He says, "Okay, this is what made me a Lupe fan." And shout out one of my exes who actually put me on to this one. The song is called "The Coolest." He says, "I love the Lord, but sometimes it's like that I love me more. I love the peace and I love the war. I love the seas and I love the shore. No love for no beach. Baby, that's the law. But she doesn't see, therefore I spoil. I trick, I fall, run up in raw. I love her with all my heart. Every vein, every vessel, every bullet lodge, with every flower that I ever took apart. She said that she would give me greatness, status, placement above the others. My face would grace covers of the magazines of the hustlers, paper, the likes of which I've never seen. Her eyes glow green with the logo of our dreams, the purpose of our scene, the obscene obsession for the bling. She would be my queen and I could be her king. Together, she would make me cool and we would both rule forever. And I would never feel pain and never be without pleasure, ever regain." I'm just like, this is straight poetry. Okay.
When was it? That's the earlier stuff.
That's earlier stuff. This is off the. This is called The Coolest.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
But I think we all gotta. Once again, like I give grace in that because I feel like once. Here's another thing we talked about earlier. We talked about Premier. I think these geniuses have to meet you at a time where it makes sense. Since we're talking about Kanye, I feel like 808s and Heartbreaks. I listened to that, and in my younger brain, I said this shit is trash. I like one thing off of here.
I threw the CD out the window.
I get that. I get it. Because when I heard this, I was like, "What the hell are you doing on auto-tune? Like, get back to the." But then I went through a breakup, and for whatever mindset I was in during that breakup, for whatever illogical thoughts that I had, that sounded like the chaos and emotion of a chaotic breakup. Those songs needed to sound off key, even though they were in auto-tune. They needed to sound unhinged because that was the true emotional representation.
That was the expression.
So I couldn't meet it at that time because I wasn't going through a breakup. I was in a happy relationship. Life was actually really good. I was, you know what I'm saying? Everything was good. But when I went through a messy breakup, songs like RoboCop took on a different meaning because now I'm looking at the lyrics from a different lens. I'm not judging it based upon the sake of music for sake of music. Now it's like, what would make you say it that way? Why over that beat? So now I take it on in a different place. So I wonder how much that has to do with it. And then sometimes music is just not going. It's just not. We're not the demographic it's aiming for, right?
Yeah. Oftentimes I'm not. I'm so not. Nothing on the radio. I'm like, that's interesting though, because like you went to Kanye for your heartbreak. And we all go to somewhere different, and I guess me, I was always I'm gonna go to R&B. There's no hip hop song that's gonna get me through heartbreak. I need Anita Baker.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need some Anita, or I'm gonna need some Brian McKnight anytime. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't going to it for the breakup.
Oh,
it was just lyrics that once didn't ring or resonate with me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Started coming up, and I was like, maybe I should run that album back. Because I was with you. I was ready to throw it out the window. I was like, this is like, mind you, this is around the DOA era where Jay-Z was like the death of auto-tune, and T-Pain was kind of like running it. So at that point, it just became like, this is not for me. But then after that breakup, you start to hear nuance in his voice that once again relates back to that pain.
Okay.
Oh, you were really hurt. Like your pride was hurt. Because it's like the Amber Rose era, I believe. Like your pride was hurt. So now that I can hear that, now for whatever illogical thoughts that I have, whatever like, you know what I'm saying, like immature thoughts that I may have, at least this feels as honest as can be, even when it's flawed.
Okay.
That's the one thing about Kanye. Like, I don't agree with a lot of stuff he does, but as beta, as whatever he may be in the moment, like he's I believe he's everything he says he is. As flawed, like I believe when he says like I think that I'm God. I look at it and I'm like, I know that we can dig in there and find a message that is deeper. I don't think it's that deep. And I think he truly in that moment feels like that. And I feel like it's just for better or for worse. And I think it's the same thing with politicians. The ones we end up voting for and voting into office are the ones that we actually believe the shit that they say. It's like, you know what? I believe you believe that shit. Those are the ones we vote into it. It's like when you believe that, history has shown. I learned that from Tony Robbins in the neuro-linguistic programming. And the way we use our body language, if 90% of our communication is physical and through, our communication is through body language, people have already made their decisions about you before you even open your mouth.
I get it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's
interesting.
Meet you at different times.
Yeah, I guess timing is everything. Timing is everything. Did I tell you when I met Kanye?
Yeah, I don't think you expanded upon it on the podcast. We talked about it a little bit off camera.
I think we talked about it.
Yeah,
because I was in LA. I was in Hollywood doing the Everest College commercials. We would shoot every day, Monday through Friday, and it was the Grammys. Was it right before? It was like the day before the Grammys. 2006.
Okay. Yeah, that was at the height. That was at the height for him.
And I had a little apartment or whatever they had rented me for a couple months, and I was walking back and forth. I'd walk back and forth to commute to and from the production office. I was walking home one night. I passed this Popeyes every time I to and from, and that's when they had the big magazines, the big magazine stands in Hollywood. So right there, is it Hollywood or I think it's Cahuenga? I don't know. It's been so long. But there's a Popeyes right there, magazine stand. I walk by, I see this guy and his jaw's big and he's holding all these magazines with these foreign cars. A little bit shorter than me, probably about half an inch shorter than me. And I kind of looked like Kanye, and he kind of looked. And I was like, oh man, what's up? And I just gave him dap and I kept it moving. Now after I gave him dap and I left, as soon as I turned that corner, I'm booking it to my room, trying to find my iPod because I have a bunch of music I want to play him. You know what I'm saying? My iPod. So I run, I keep it cool. When I hit the corner, I'm like, zoom, I'm booking it. Run up there, get my iPod.
What do you think the goal is at that point?
I just want him to hear a song. I got a song I'm super confident in. Like, he can have it, he can work with me, but I know this song is dope. I know, especially 2000s, I just know the song's dope. And I respect the culture. I've always been like, I respect the culture too much to bullshit somebody.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That was always my approach. Like, I remember carrying Razcast's, he had some albums, and he came to Phoenix. It was my birthday, and
shout out to Raz.
I was backstage with him. He was going to stage, and he was carrying his own records. Yeah. I was like, man, let me carry those for you. You know what I'm saying? I just respect the culture. Like, so anyways, I ran up on him, so when I came back down with my iPod, he was still there, and I'm like, but after I turned the corner, I was like trying to play it off like I wasn't running, you know, trying to breathe through my nose.
No sweat. Just
hey, what's up? You know, and so I run up on him, I was like, hey man, will you listen to this song real quick, man? Just trust me, you're gonna love it. Just please listen to the song. And I told him, I was like, I respect the culture too much. I know you got niggas in your face all day, you trying to get signed. Just hear this song. Yeah. And he would not hear the song for nothing.
Very Kanye-like.
He was very like, this is what he said. He said, yo, it don't even work like that, cause like I couldn't just play my stuff for Jay-Z. I had to go through somebody. You know, that's what he said. I had to go through somebody. I'm like, nigga, I'm right here in your face. Right. Take these earbuds, put them in your fucking ear. Don't tell me why you couldn't directly. Shit has to go a certain way.
Trying to teach a lesson in the process.
Word. And so like I was like pissed. Like he would not. I was like, yo, I was like, and then I was like, look, man, if you like it, you could have it. I'm not tripping. I just think this is noteworthy. Check this out. And he said, no, I got sued for the song I made for Ludacris. I think it was Stand Up or something. I think he made that. Yep. But he was like, I got sued.
Somebody claimed that was theirs.
Yeah, he said somebody played me something, and then I made that for Ludacris, and I got sued. And so I kind of understood, and I kind of understood a little bit more. Yeah. But then he ended up giving me Don C's number. So I had Don C's number, and at this point, I wasn't like a Kanye stan like that, so I didn't know who Don C was. Right. He didn't start mentioning him in his raps till later. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, oh, he heard me. He put me up on one. He gave me to one of the little homies, and they ain't gonna fuck with me.
So you just immediately thought that it was like just to keep you distracted and feel like you walked away with something.
So I didn't. I think we corresponded twice, me and Don C, and then nothing material. You know, I was like, yeah, whatever.
I wanted to ask you this last time, but
I'm doing commercials anyhow. Nigga.
Right. You gonna see me regardless. I always wanted to ask this question as a follow up to that. Now with the perspective, obviously, of more experience and just, you know, seeing who he became and the flaws that come along with that, would you have approached that situation differently?
Being older and having been around and all that stuff, like, I see it two different ways. Number one, niggas ain't gonna put nobody on.
That part.
Like, what I mean is, I think at that time I was even a better rapper. Like, you know, I'm biased, of course, but at the time, like, if I would have had bars, I would have destroyed them. Like, I still think like Kanye is overrated as a rapper personally. Right. But but niggas ain't gonna put nobody on that's prettier than them or doper than them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not dissing. I like F that. I think I'm flyer than Kanye.
Yeah.
Okay. If you put me next side by side and we both billionaires or we both broke,
right,
I'm gonna pull more females than Kanye, personality or otherwise. Right. It's my little vanity rant. But I'm just saying. So like,
get yours off.
So what I'm saying is he ain't gonna put me on. You ain't gonna put on a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
Unless you're there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Look, and this is something that I feel like, I don't know if this is inside that I feel like this, or I'm reading the room and I'm reading the reaction of people when they ask me questions like, "Yo, if so and so hits you up, would you be willing to work with them? Would you willing to jump into it? Like if Jay-Z hit you up, are you gonna stop all this DIY stuff? You gonna stop all this YouTube stuff?" I almost feel insulted. I do feel insulted because I'm like, it's almost like people think that you're playing a career until somebody that everybody knows co-signs it or contributes to it. It's almost like you're small. And let's leave it off of rap, because rap is a whole other situation. Let's just focus it on, you start up a sandwich business, family-owned sandwich business, and your family is like, yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know. You know, a lot of businesses fail, especially restaurant. All these things that they're saying. But then you tell them, hey, I think Subway wants to buy out our restaurant. Oh, you need to do that. That's a good look. Like, now you're really in the big leagues. I feel like that's a mentality that follows folks who have the audacity to do things themselves without the traditional machine. And I feel like nobody
buys in till you get to that point.
Nobody will celebrate you. I shouldn't say nobody, but this is the mentality. Nobody will celebrate you until somebody that they celebrates you. They're waiting for somebody else to say it's okay to co-sign this. He's the real deal.
Then you're validated.
And I'm like, how many people have gone through their entire career and were a few encouraging words away from becoming great where they're at, and then knowing like, hey, as an independent, you got the flexibility to delegate or bring in people who are independent freelancers that can expand and scale what you're doing. But if you don't talk that kind of language to people who have a business or believe that they have a business, some people won't believe they have a business. And so when I say like, no, I don't give a shit if it's Kanye, if it's Drake. I have been around this long enough, and at 38, I recognize that as much of a good look as that could be for exposure, that's a terrible misstep for the building that I have been working on. That may be stubborn because, well, they can buy you the whole building. Why would I want to give somebody that freedom, give somebody that much power over my ideas and over the thing that I've been building my entire life? That can be seen as stubborn, whatever the case may be. But I get to a place where I'm like, we never launch on our own ideas because society has convinced many of us that they're not of value unless somebody else who's already built something says it's valuable. And I'm like, fuck that. If I die and don't accomplish it, but I was working towards building something that I can pass to my son, to me, that's the very foundation of things like generational wealth. And generational wealth, I don't think just applies to money. I think it applies to knowledge. I think it applies to morals, ethics. Like, these are the wealth.
Amen.
And so as I think about that, I'm like, every time that I've been in situations, and that's why I asked you that question about Kanye, that I could have really leveled up with somebody who was in a better position, more notoriety, more money, whatever. God always showed something to me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily about them. It was me. Like, I dropped the ball. All of a sudden, I forget how to make a beat. All of a sudden, my computer doesn't know how to work. All of a sudden, I'm like, does that mean I'm not ready for the moment, or does that mean the moment is not supposed to be my destiny? And it happened so many times that I was like, all right, God, I'm tired of being stubborn. Lead me. You've been leading me, but now I'm ready for you to lead me, and I'm gonna stop being bullheaded and stubborn and listen about what's the next move. And every time that I've moved to something more independently, the biggest blessings have come my way.
That's interesting. Like, I think you should be commended for having the wherewithal and not being discouraged during that kind of, during the times you forgot how to make a beat and all that.
Right.
But it's like steel sharpens steel, so you know, you're gonna be great on this end. You're gonna be super great, and that's interesting though.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I'll be honest with you, I was insecure about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was like, does this mean I'm not ready for the moment? But excuse me. Then there would be moments where I am on fire. Babatunde, I'm on fire in this session, and everybody that means something is seeing me on fire. We're in the moment.
Yeah.
Then that's when some bullshit happens with the business.
Okay.
Or something like it's just like, and I'm like,
it's not one thing. It's damn. When
it
you're
gets to that
performing,
point,
it's not your fault.
How many times do you have to walk into a room and shit falls on your head every time you walk into the room? Say it's like a prank. The water falls on your head, and you're like, "Oh, happened again. Maybe that was just chance this time." Then you go right back in the room, and water hits you again, and it's like, "Oh, maybe I can do better next time." How many times you gonna walk in a room before you look up and say, "I knew what you're doing, and this is not the room for me"?
Yeah.
So I'm just the product of someone who said, even if that was the wrong decision, I'm going to stand on that. But every day that I'm here, even today, we started at 11 a.m. on a Monday. To have the flexibility to have a conversation with you and to have these amazing, beautiful people in here having conversation and dialogue just shows me proof of a concept. And this is stuff that I had to work for, but not nearly as hard did I have to work as I did in the industry just to fail.
Damn.
By their standards, of course. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I don't gotta work for this.
Hear me out though. I really and genuinely feel like I don't want to meet none of these niggas, man.
Yeah,
like
facts.
Like even people like. There's a few that I wouldn't mind, but like if I was at the mall,
right,
and somebody said, "Oh, so and so's at the other side of the mall. We just have to walk down there in the food court," and I'm at Sears, or there's no Sears no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I get
I'm on the other
side.
There's very few of them I would walk to the other side of the mall to go see. And honestly, as I get older, I only want to connect. The only reason I want to connect with the Drake or anybody,
right,
21 Savage, like Jigga, anybody to really connect with them would be for some philanthropy stuff.
See that right there
to support a ministry, aka charity, that I'm setting up for kids in Hawaii, and I need to buy a beachfront property so I can host kids year round. You know what I'm saying? Like that's actually part of my dream.
We got to talk
eventually
about that.
But
yeah.
you know, if and I'm not even talking about rappers. I'm talking about Tyler Perry and Oprah, and like, you know, at some point you want to be around celebrities. And it's funny because the Super Bowl was just in Phoenix. We just had the Super Bowl in Phoenix, and I was telling a couple people, like, man, in my 20s and 30s, I would have been trying to go to 50 Cent's party, and and Shaq had a party, and
you trying to be in the who's
who,
who,
selfies and all that. And what's his name? Boris had a party at the Elks.
Oh wow!
So it was like super nigga party. It was a nigga night. You know what I'm saying?
Not a nigga night.
And I was telling my homeboy, like, I don't even want to go. I would want to go see Boris, not for that reason,
right?
But I want to go see Boris just to talk to him about his African tours he takes every year. So he does an African tour every year where they go to all different parts of Africa.
Right.
I want to commercialize that shit.
Yeah.
I want to go on one of the tours and video, take footage of the whole thing. But on top of that, we should commercialize. That should be an option for black people.
But see, with
the African tour, go to Zimbabwe to anyway.
But what I gather from that is the same thing, and I feel like this is where we have so much in common. They're meeting you where you're at, instead of stopping the thing that you're working on to contribute to what they already have. Like, you already are down the line. If you're a Jay-Z or Drake, you've established an ecosystem, a system that you got 100 people's staffs. You got your thing going on. For me to have the audacity or have the thought that they're willing to stop what they're doing to help me, right? Because I learned that from a Russell Simmons book. He said it straight up, and I never heard nobody else say it. He said, "Why would I ever invest money into you if I don't believe you can make money?" And I recognize how much the industry operates off of that. How much just capitalism in general operates off of that. Why would you invest money into somebody that's not going to make you money back?
True though.
And if they look at you and say you're supremely talented, so the fuck what? You're talented. Okay. So can you make me my money back? This is not their philanthropy. For them, this is their business.
Yeah.
If I already got some shit going on, I even feel like to a certain degree, I'm a better conversation and I have better leverage at the table if I've already built something.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Instead of a Tyler Perry or like you said, somebody coming into the picture and saying, I see what you're doing, I see the vision, and I want to finance this. Hold on, bucko. Hold on. I appreciate that, and I love the love on that, but we got to talk the details, because what people don't acknowledge about blessings that they think are blessings because their greed or their impatience wants them, 6 months down the line, that car you dreamed about, it will get dirty. It will get scuffs. Yeah. You buy a Lamborghini, you will need to go get gas. Yeah. And now you're in a Lamborghini in a neighborhood that's a little bit questionable and you have to get gas. Yeah. Now all of a sudden that blessing turns into you becoming a target. Right? And I feel it's the same way with, oh my gosh, Tyler Perry wants to come and help build what I got going on. Now all of a sudden, in the name of their business, they say, I don't think it's the best business decision for you to stream live every day. I think you should do this.
Let's wait till the sponsors are.
And if I say, hey, this is what fuels me creatively to be of the best value to what you have going on, that contradicts with their business ethics. And rightfully so, they have every right to back away. But if they invest money, they have every right to say, no, you don't have a say in this, Curtis. I own more of what you got going on than you do. I can't blame them for being capitalistic. I have to blame myself for allowing them to come and disrupt what I did, because what's at the core of that? My impatience, because I didn't want to build it the slow way, brick by brick. My probably even a little bit of doubt. Maybe I didn't think I could do this on my own. Those are the thoughts that I think about when somebody that comes into the space that has all that massive influence. What's the rush? Yeah. What's the rush? Do you not believe that you're going to make it there? Because if you believe you're going to get to a destination, don't matter how fast the car is, you're going to get to the destination.
Here's my thing. You're talking about you got Jay-Z or Drake and you got 100 people. I don't think God has created us to be that.
What do you mean?
I don't think it's being worshipped in a way. You know what I'm saying? It's idolism. But what I'm saying is, I don't think, like, take Will Smith. Will Smith's very interesting to me because, like, he was so famous, and of course we know what happened with him and Chris Rock. But he's been so famous for so much of his life, and I mean, imagine everywhere you go. Like, say you run 6 errands, right? Imagine every place you went, people are like, oh my God, Curtis, oh my God, can I take a picture with you? Like, everywhere you go, you make the people's day that are there. You go to Starbucks, everybody's Starbucks, oh my God, Curtis King was here. Yo, did you see, yeah, oh my God, I saw that picture with Curtis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To be that guy, and male or female, but everywhere you go, you make their day. You know what I'm saying? Especially Will Smith. He's pretty likable, especially, you know.
Yeah, he'll figure it out.
Before this. Yeah, he's still a good guy. But like everywhere you go, you make their day, so there's nothing negative. People don't look at you through the same lens as they see everybody else. And so I don't think God makes us for that. Like the praise that we're giving other people is meant for him. We go to football games and we jump up and down, and we go to church and barely bat an eye. We go to concerts, everybody throw your hands in the air. Oh!
Right.
But we want to in church. We if we even go to church, we want to be meek in church, and all that praise and all that energy. It needs to be at least in terms of how I think. It needs to be a balance in my faith.
And I respect that. Can I throw a wrench in there?
But wait.
Go ahead. I want you to finish your point, but I want to throw a wrench in there.
So what I'm saying is, we're not meant to be exalted. I'm not meant to have Eva Mendez's number and Rihanna's number, and you know what I'm saying? Like
that could be problematic.
How the hell can I be focused on the one girl if if Eva Mendes is hitting me up or Rihanna's hitting me up, and these are married women. I don't mean to
Yeah,
diss
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah,
But you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the girls of my fantasy, the girls that, oh my gosh, Nia Longs and
Right,
stuff. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Nia, you can hit me up, by the way. But you know what I'm saying? Like, how the heck, like, I don't think human beings are meant to have that much accessibility, that much be that
much
popular where
praise
no
on a
women
regular-
tells you no. If you're Will Smith in the 90s, who's telling you no?
Yeah.
Even
yeah.
2000s, who's telling you no? These celebrities, nobody's telling you no. No woman's telling. She might tell you hold on or maybe or what. You know what I'm saying? She's not saying no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I don't think I don't think God made us to have that, to be exalted in that kind of form.
Worship like that.
And I think it messes with our mentality, and I think that's why you see Drake wanting to fuck everybody. I'm not judging Drake.
Right. But you got the flexibility. You
But
got
if I had that, I'd probably be worse than Drake. I'd be
Yeah.
a lot sloppier than Drake, maybe. Who knows? At 20 or 30, or you know what I'm
getting
saying?
DMs leaked every other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the one, and maybe we're saying the same thing, but here's the one wrench I want to throw in there, because especially when it comes to the conversation, y'all getting a whole lot of conversations that could have only happened with Babatunde today. So please, we gotta get more round of applause, because this is good dialogue. Y'all don't get to hear this from me or us. So you said one thing about, obviously, this culture, and Hala Sounds just talked about it, this culture of celebrities being worshipped, and it feels like nowadays it's even more accessible than ever for somebody who's not even a household name to become that. Like
influencers are worshipped.
Influencers are worshipped on a level to where it's like, what are you currently buying? What are you currently wearing? What's your cologne? What do you bathe in? I want to buy all that and literally be you. It's terrible in that sense, but you know what?
Regular people that gotta wipe their booties the same way everybody else does, and they can't walk on water, and
they get musty
can't
like
heal
everybody.
The sick. I mean, they probably, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they get musty like everybody else, but their worship. Here's the point I want to make, though. I feel like it's gonna sound so bad, and I acknowledge it. I'll live with this, but I feel like sometimes people have to go their own path of worship to understand what worship even is like, right? I'll give you an example. This is gonna make it more clarity, right?
Okay.
Because it's gonna sound very like sacrilegious to some people, but I understand what it is. I've been in church my whole life. I didn't went through every kind of Baptist church you can think of, right? Because my mother played piano in these churches. I've seen every side of the church. I've seen the pastor that was pointing fingers at everybody in the church and was
fire and brimstone and
talking about how y'all going to hell with just kids in here who feel like the world's going to end, so what I got to live for. I've seen those pastors turn around and try to flirt with my mama even though they're married. I've seen the same church ladies who would talk about, like, and this is not me being anti, this is me just saying I have all perspectives on it. I'll see the church ladies who will be like, you know, judgmental of my mother or judgmental of how her kids were dressing because we didn't have a whole lot of money, and turn around and say, in church, and turn around and be like, hallelujah, and I pray for you, but you're talking down upon God's children. So I saw all sides of it, but still did not buckle my faith. I just didn't understand how those folks could turn around and start speaking in tongues, and all of a sudden you're more connected to God than anybody else here. Was kind of the whole like show about it, right? Now I believe in the speaking in tongues. I believe in filling the Holy Ghost. I believe in it, but I always had like, why don't I feel that? It took me going to a Tony Robbins event, and it wasn't about Tony Robbins. He was just a voice, right? A vehicle that was getting information out there. It was being connected with human beings who all wanted to do better for the majority. 10,000 odd people who were all doing like
what was the theme?
Self-improvement.
Okay.
Self-improvement was the theme, and
that's always a running theme.
right. I mean, it's the self-help stuff, right?
Yeah,
and I know people are skeptical of that, and I get the skepticism, absolutely. But it took me being in that environment before I said, he's making us clap our hands, he's making us raise our hands to like a better vision of us, and like releasing the trauma that's on us, and kind of inserting here and there messages that I saw that were obviously inspired by the Christian religion. And I remember asking myself as I'm clapping and I'm like ridding myself of the things that I'm feeling and pushing towards a better version of myself. Is this what my mama felt like worshiping in church? It's one thing to see somebody catch a feeling and you're like, I wonder what that feels like. I feel the music, I understand that, but I'm not understanding why like the amens is so like you feel that in your heart and it carries with you, because the messages weren't relaying to me at a younger age. But it took me being in that environment to get me back to go to church.
Man, that's beautiful.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if everybody is taking a road to where, as terrible and as, you know, as anti-religious as it is for them to worship a celebrity, does it take the same way it takes somebody going through a drug addiction and being at their rock bottom?
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? I know that's a hard way to kind of like explain it. It's a path that maybe I wouldn't understand it because it ain't for me, because it wouldn't be the same results for me.
No, I get it. It's like the like the prodigal son, though. The
eventually come back home.
Yeah, and kill the fattened calf when he comes home, regardless of the journey.
Yeah,
you know, that's interesting. I like that. Tony Robbins. You know what? It's funny because I don't condemn those self-help things. I've never personally been to one. I have friends that do, you know, they call it leadership training and whatnot. And one of my homegirls, she's been doing it for years and whatnot. And you know, some people need that. I've always kind of been a leader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could
that.
probably teach one of those, but I don't even like. And I'm not trying to be arrogant at all. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, I know how to use influence before I was on TV.
Right.
You know, you start with your mom. Come on, mom. I love you. You know what I'm saying? It's manipulation, or, you know, it's just different forms of manipulation, I should say.
It's all hypnosis. You know? That's the one thing I had to conclude from that, is that all of this is hypnosis. Every bit and piece of who we are, what we wear, has been a process of hypnosis. Whether it's seeing an advertisement 14, 15 times, whether it's somebody that's influential to us wearing this, right? Whether it's like when LL Cool J was first wearing FUBU, and then that became like part of like the reason why folks wear FUBU over Gap, even though he was doing both commercials. He's wearing FUBU in the Gap commercial, which I thought was still one of the most legendary hip hop moves.
Like,
for us, by us, and they didn't need it. They couldn't catch it. That's how tone deaf they were.
Crazy.
But in seeing that, it makes me wonder, like, all right, how much of this is going to be the path that we think is going to be, and how much of it is the path that we need to go to get to where we're inevitably going to be. I didn't have any belief in the Tony Robbins situation. I got invited by the guy that owned the gym that I went to. Right. He was like, man, I think you should go to this. You're a very motivational human being. I think you would see a lot of value in it. I went in there skeptical. I was like, all right, we'll see what this is. And when I saw the amount of energy that I had off of only one meal and just sipping water throughout the day, and I had a framework of this is how the brain works. Okay. We were talking about this off the camera, but even hearing about the 6 needs of human beings, I talk about this a lot here on the channel, but the need for certainty, the need for uncertainty, the need for significance, the need for love and affection, and the last 2 spiritual needs, which is growth and contribution to something bigger than you. This helped me to,
and that's what I'm focused on right now.
Growth and contribution,
more than anything,
and
is the growth and contribution.
And the tricky thing about it is those first 4 are primal needs, right? Everybody in here has a need for certainty that if you take your key and you put it in your ignition, the car will turn on. You need that, or you're gonna be very, very unsure about the rest of the day. You need uncertainty. We like surprises. We don't want life to be always predictable. We have a need for significance. Everybody wants to feel significant to a certain degree, no matter what you say. Even if you do it for the name of charity or philanthropy, we all have a certain level of significance that we seek. The last one being love and affection. But the problem with those first primal needs is that you can get 3 of those and it becomes a drug addiction. Without the last 2, which are the need for growth and to contribute to something bigger than you, you will not be fulfilled no matter how much money you make, because you can make a whole lot of money off of these 4 primal needs. Without growth, and that's why I think a lot of musicians and the artists that I talk to on a daily basis in this space feel unfulfilled because they're lacking those last two. If you find a way to take even just one of those last two, spirit, growth and contribution, and you combine it with significance or the need for certainty or uncertainty, you could be a philanthropist that is addicted to philanthropy and do so much great into the world. But the problem is we seek these things because they're the most accessible. And when we don't find a way to bring in growth and contribution, our lives are dramatically different. But I wouldn't have been exposed to that had I not had somebody who could just break it down in a way that I can understand.
And it's game. At the end of the day, it's all game.
It's all game,
right.
and they're vehicles, right? If we believe that in God, they're vehicles that are delivering this information, and God saw it fit that I was in that room at that time. And I feel like had it not been for that path, I would have not chose to go back to church on my own.
Okay.
Because my mother was trying to get me back in there, but I'm like, Moms, I see all kind of versions. I see all kind of stuff that I'm like, has me like second guessing the people, not the religion, the people involved in it. But this gave me so much more faith in, like, it's almost like the gym. We don't go to the gym to like, well, some folks do go to the gym to go check out the ladies there, but we're all supposed to be there for self-improvement. And when you have that as your focus, man, it just makes it so much more enjoyable that I'm here. This is my spiritual gym.
That's like, I'm on the church thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes the church feels like the gym, and the gym feels like the church. Like, and even sometimes, like, I've been guilty of it. There's times I've been like, man, I want to go to this church because I know this bad girl goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm wrong, and I would never act on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I you know, in my past, I get inclinations like, man, I know she goes to this church.
Yeah.
What's her name? Oh man, you know what I'm saying?
But who's to say that that's the wrong? Who's this?
It's better than going to the club.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
girl, I guess
the intent might be something that's questionable, but it's like, who's to say that's not part of the plan?
True that. But the relationship between me and God, I wouldn't. If I'm going to church for God, I'm not going to this church. I'm gonna go to this church. But she's over here, or you know what I'm saying? They got some bad women,
but
you
look,
know, or whatever.
Look, I'm gonna push on this one. I'm gonna push on this one. I'm gonna push on this. I'm gonna push on this one though. What if that's, and I'm gonna use an example from Arnold Schwarzenegger. What if that was the thing that you needed to happen to put you in front of a message that was only delivered that Sunday at that church?
And sometimes God can even use women. God can use anything, right?
These are all his. So this is what this is me like sometimes being like over conspiracy theorist about things. Maybe I'm like thinking too deep into it, but I'm like, this is the creator of all. I look at that and I'm like, maybe that's what it took. How about Arnold Schwarzenegger? They asked him, they said, what is your motivation to like keep building? Like, what do you want? He's like, I want the girls in California. Like, that was his drive. As shallow as that is. That pushed him to be one of the most legendary bodybuilders of all time. And even though that's like sugar, like that's like sugar water that you're putting in the gas tank, you can't sustain off that. Maybe that's what needed to launch the rocket to start the path. And then along the way, you start to pick up, you know what? I actually do have like more solid beliefs now. Because I'm exposed to it, because I'm in the room.
But your motivation was shallow.
Motivation might have been shallow, but it doesn't have to end that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a lot of these rappers didn't get girls before rap.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think girls like Drake now, but I don't know how.
When he was Aubrey?
You know, yeah, I don't.
Oh, you're Wheelchair Jimmy.
But I think that motivated him in a lot of his raps, and like I think Drez from Black Sheep speaks on that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some great albums and some great songs were inspired by not getting pussy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of folks. And look, you meet your path where you meet your path, and I feel like life is always happening for you and not to you. And that's a mountain I'm willing to die on. Like,
just saying that your mentality's different, right?
It's different.
It's
I can't
victimhood versus
could never be victim
empowerment. Because
I got to look at it like how many variables had to happen that I saw and didn't see to make even today happen. Like even just us having a conversation. How many variables had to be in place for this to be the day that we meet? right?
Yeah.
Any level, like literally yesterday, some of the folks know my private group in Patreon. I went to the ER in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I had
Your eye looks great, by the way.
Thank you. It got better, man. It got better.
Last night it wasn't.
Sheesh. Yeah, the day before that too. Oh man, it looked like I was nesting an egg in there. But I went in there, and literally them keeping me there an extra 2 hours could have been the difference between me saying, I think we just need to meet on Monday, or me not going at all. Could have swelled it up so much that I'm up here wearing. All of a sudden, the interview is distracted by me wearing a eye patch and looking like Nick Fury.
I thought you might wear glasses or something, sunglasses or something.
No, I got a character that I play called Sus Bunny. They'd be up here making fun of me, so I was like, better to just let it all fly out than to become a meme that never dies. I think about Michael Jordan in the crying meme. He will never. He'll never live that down.
I know. That's funny. He might be just as famous for that meme as anything else he's done, right?
That's scary. That a generation may only know him as he was once a basketball player, but that's the meme.
Yeah, and then their grandkids, the kids, the 4-year-olds right now, their grandkids. I wonder how they're gonna look at Jordan. They're like, "You mean the meme guy?"
The meme guy is crazy. Yeah, we know LeBron is the GOAT. Yeah, and that's just the meme guy.
That's just the Jumpman guy.
That's the jump
guy that does a Jumpman.
He's the guy that owns the Jordan brand, right? Man, oh man. That's so I know that you had other topics. What else? We seem like we kind of.
I know we just kind of went everywhere, but it's a good flow. Let me officially look at my list.
I want to see because you have some good things on there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all are doing well. Ricky Schiff, shout out to you. You just said.
Let's. If they have questions or they want to say something,
that's a good place to go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, especially after watching the videos, after whatever question you have, absolutely ask that. We got moderators in here, so definitely be respectful. If we got any trolls in here, I can't wait to pull out my favorite meme.
I like trolls.
Hold on, here's my favorite meme. Can I show you my favorite meme? Let me pause the music real quick. I love when this one pops up.
You got a favorite meme?
I got a favorite pop-up meme. Somebody act crazy, they go to the sunken place.
I like that.
That's it. They just hold on. Let me go back. Hold on. There you go. They in the sunken place. You done. You just end up in you didn't have to say none of that. You just was weird for no reason. So there it is.
Very few things get to me anymore. Oh, we can talk about fitness for a minute. Now,
that's huge with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna reiterate what I said. I think I told you a little bit earlier. But this dude on Camelback. I can do Camelback. Everybody that follows me or whatever, I do Camelback every morning.
Giving context, what is Camelback?
Camelback is a mountain in Phoenix, Arizona. It's pretty difficult hike. Phoenix is kind of like LA, or I should say California in general. We have a lot of mountains like dead smack in the middle of our cities. So Camelback is one of those. It's a beautiful mountain, about 6 miles from where I live, and so I go there every day and I hike. I up and down about an hour. I got my little regimen.
How many miles?
It's 2.4, but it's uphill and downhill, and it's not always, it's not a paved road. It's a crazy trail.
Shout out to Viral Beast. He said he's hiked it a few times.
Word. But yeah, that's like my and so yeah, I don't think before I gave my regimen. So this time I'm gonna give my regimen, and I'll give you my regimen, and if you feel so inclined, try it out. Especially if you're if you're a seasoned athlete or whatnot. But I go up and down Camelback, and there's certain rules I have. Number one, I never take water ever. Like,
wait, what?
Ever. I know people I do it all wrong. That's why it's a challenge. That's why if you think you're up to it, try Tunde's regimen.
That made me want to drink water.
Yeah, drink some water. I've never the only time I take water is when I'm hiking with my daughters or like a female or you know what I'm saying? Like I'll take water for them. I'll take a canteen. Never take water. So number two, you're gonna go up and down Camelback in less than an hour. You're gonna try to make an hour. Which is pretty difficult. It's like I said, it's
4 miles. It's less than an hour.
It's not easy. Okay, and then so thirdly, you can't breathe out of your mouth.
Wait, what?
You can't breathe out of your mouth the whole time. You got to breathe out of your nose.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah, because it's, and I do this because the controlled breathing.
You and David.
I want to get David would kick my ass. I'm not that good. But the controlled breathing, when you breathe out of your nose and you don't allow yourself to breathe out of your mouth, you have to. It's harder to breathe,
right?
Especially as you're working. So like people that do yoga, I think that's cute. I don't do yoga. I don't fuck with yoga. I think it's cute, but I'm really working.
I like how low your voice goes when you start to shade. No, fuck yoga.
Yeah, yoga. Yeah, fuck yoga. No, I'm just kidding. It's not for, again, some people do racquetball. I don't play racquetball. I'm not shitting on racquetball. I'm not shitting on yoga. I just think it's cute. Like, oh, you're doing yoga. That's cute.
You can't say it's cute and say you're not shitting on it.
Yeah, but it's cute. No, it's cute.
It's
but
a grown man.
Yeah,
it's a grown man getting ready to do some yoga right now.
I'm doing some stuff though.
He threw his mat down right now when you said that.
I don't want to be pretentious though. I don't want to be pretentious. But to me, that makes it more yoga-ish.
Yeah.
By controlling the breath, I'm pushing my body like a mug, but a lot of times I'll chew gum. I can't breathe out of my mouth. I won't let myself breathe out of my mouth. And so if I have to slow down a little bit, cool, but I'm still going up and down in an hour.
Crazy.
Anyway, so
that's wild.
No water, can't breathe out of your mouth. What else? Oh, you can't use your hands. So you can only use, my hands can only touch metal and wood.
Oh, hell no.
So the incline is very steep, so sometimes they have metal poles.
You run up like this?
I run up.
That's crazy.
But it keeps all the pressure on your lower extremities.
Yeah.
So your knees, your ankles, your hips. If I'm not, let me grab this and come up, but I'm just here with it, and it's just one step after another. So yeah, it's that. And then what else is in my regimen? I think
Tank said it's different.
Smoke a blunt on the way down.
It's just like everything that you could do to dehydrate your body, you do, and then you still able to like look like you ain't aged a day since them commercials first came out.
I appreciate that.
How in the hell?
You're not a good liar.
How in the hell? How in the hell? I mean, you got a little couple grays and whatnot, but how in the hell? I wish. Black don't crack. That's what it is.
But it's what I was talking to you about before is our stubbornness. I don't know if it's Aquarius man or whatever, but I'm just stubborn. I'm just stubborn with it. I just don't care. Like I can't be a bitch. Like every morning, for real. Like I'm not. When it comes to that, first off, I hike for an hour. It's 1 hour. There's 24 hours in the day, so I got 23 hours to do anything else.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm there for 6 hours. I'm not The Rock working out for 8 hours, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm doing cardio for an hour. It's hard. It's difficult, but it's just 1 hour. So I'm gonna, I'm bust my ass for an hour, and then I can move on with life.
Man.
So that's my approach. So anytime I'm like, my ankle kind of hurts, which never happens. I never have any muscle pain or anything, which I'm blessed for.
Right.
Man. But it's just about not being a bitch for the day. To me, that's my approach. Like I'm not gonna I can do this.
You know what the equivalent of that for me is, and I think it is an Aquarius thing. Cold showers in the morning.
Really? See, I'm a bitch when it comes to anything cold.
Cold showers.
I'm never gonna do that
cold
dunk.
Shower.
The ice bath.
I'm gonna get myself there at least
never.
In the next year. I'm gonna be able to get myself there because I want to have my own plunge for that.
Okay.
But
more power to you, brother.
And that's how I feel about what you're talking about. Talking about breathing just through the nose and no water. That's exactly how I feel in the morning.
Thing. Yeah.
Because what you said, I can relate to in that when I wake up in the morning, my wife is not a believer in the heater, right?
Oh, really?
So like, because of how hot it gets in the room, the rooms just they control heat in our house.
You gotta close the vents, man. Just don't have the vents fully open.
Hell no, she's taking all the covers, and I just want my heat. You know what I'm saying? Like you take all. So like I wake up and it's already damn near 69, 68, and I'm like, my mind's like, there's no way in hell that I'm taking this cold shower, and that's exactly what I do. Is I make myself go to that bathroom, and then here's what I start doing.
Can you find your penis for the rest of the day? Man.
Yes. You know what happens? I'll tell you this. What happens to get myself back? Because I have to I almost feel like I have to train myself to do that. I don't just go straight cold water. I do warm, and then I graduate to the cold, and the coldest it can be. And even that is sort of a mind game because you just are prolonging it. But I have no problem turn the code on and jump right in, because my conversation is the same thing as you. You a bitch? This is the hardest part of your day? Yeah. You can't do nothing. You can't. So how are you going to sit up here and make beats in front of these people? How are you going to sit up here and teach anybody about being resilient and your ass can't do this for 3 minutes? That's how I talk to myself.
Yeah.
Not saying about anybody else, but for me, I get up and I'm like, you could take care of this. And I notice it start to segue in my habits throughout the day, in that I won't cut corners. Same thing when I'm on a treadmill. I'm sure for you, like you doing these 2-mile runs in less than an hour, it makes going that extra step mentally for a task that you're doing not seem that far away.
Amen.
Because you've already trained yourself mental. That I'm going to keep going.
True. Because it's muscle memory at this point. Everything is mental. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point.
You said muscle memory. I'm thinking, like, since we talked about the church almost being a gym for spirituality, well, what kind of muscle is being built from the spirituality? And it makes me feel like that's also building up a bit of spiritual muscle and resilience.
Amen.
Cold showers boost testosterone. It's a great feeling. It is, and something happens when, like, my thing is this: in order for me to do this on a regular basis, I gotta have the most beautiful music that I have ever heard. So I got a playlist called Cold Shower that literally, like, I got like Earth, Wind, and Fire on here. I got it's an assorted playlist with Sade, Flying Lotus, Dilla. Every piece of music that is the most beautiful music that I've heard, I put on this playlist. And when I put it on shuffle, when I put that speaker inside, the little Bluetooth speaker inside the shower, this shit ain't nothing. If anything, it's a soundtrack at that point. That cold hit the back of my neck, I'm telling you, something happens in the brain that just feels like my thoughts are just clear. It's almost how people describe meditation. That's how it is for me. After that, go to the gym, and I just feel like my muscle recovery is a lot faster.
Really?
There's a lot of things that are beneficial to doing it on a regular basis. But the resiliency is the thing I love the most.
Okay. Because it's not shit. It's a mental exercise. A mug.
What can a day bring to me that's worse than that first 15 seconds?
So that cold.
Because the challenge is not getting in the water. The challenge is controlling your breathing.
Oh, okay.
Right. So for me, it's like,
because you want to almost stop breathing.
That's you want to hyperventilate.
You want to clench up, your muscles tense, right? Like,
you talked about it earlier, your balls shrink and everything. Like, you just like, that's what you initially do. But the challenge becomes, can I control my heart rate? Can I control my body in a chaotic environment? That's fucking life. That is life.
That's how I am when I'm I get it now. Because that's when I'm hiking, I'm stoic. That's another thing. I can't. And these people that, even when I lift weights, when I try to stay, it's not. I'm gonna it starts with the breathing. That's why I breathe the way I do. Control breathing and stay stoic. So this time when I'm stressing my body, same way as the ice. This time where I'm pushing my body, I'm stressed, I'm tired, I want to quit, I'm calm and I'm stoic. I'm sweating my ass off, I'm breathing hard, but my face is calm. And
it prepares you for stress. It prepares you for stress.
Yeah. I gotta tell you something. Big part of who I am is due to literary figures. Two in particular. My favorite author, Robert B. Parker. He has a character called Spencer. They used to make Spencer for Hire. Used to be the. So I've read every Spencer novel 8 times.
Oh wow!
No exaggeration. I just love Spencer and Hawk. And so a lot of who I am in terms of moral compass, other than, the Bible, and, we all got our own morals but part of that is Spencer and Hawk from the Spencer novels.
Right.
I'm like 60% Hawk, 40% Spencer. Sometimes the numbers shift, but I always like it. And when they would work out in the stories, they would be stoic. Their breathing would always be controlled, and they wouldn't be wincing or they're just here with it.
It's a controlled situation.
And so I put that into practice because I used to read the books and I love the characters so much. And so I kind of implemented that in my workout. It's just fun. I never told nobody that.
Yeah.
But it's funny.
Everybody got their process. And I think that we all got to meet our challenges where our challenges currently live. And it just seems like that mountain for you. That's why every day when I see your hashtags, the hashtags tell me everything. It's like, this is my gym.
Yeah.
Right? Like
my gym is cooler than yours.
My gym is cooler than yours.
My gym is outdoors.
Like you
Echo
see.
Mountain of Youth.
And that's probably, and it's funny. I told you, one day I'm gonna go up there with you. I don't know about this no bringing water. I'm gonna do this in steps.
You need to bring water.
I need to bring my water.
I be telling my daughters I'm not mortal. I'll call the other people that bring water. I'll walk up Camelback. I'll walk up to where you're about to start hiking, and I'll see people stretching and stuff. And the people that are regulars, people that hike every day, I've never seen them stretch. You know what I'm saying? They get out of their car, they do the trail, they come down the trail, they get back in their car.
Man,
these people they're stretching, they're doing the Jane Fonda thing, and it's cute to me.
The
it's
Jane
like,
Fonda
look
thing.
at this cute. They think, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they don't know what they're getting into, so they're just kind of preparing. But yeah, I do everything wrong, man. Up that mountain, I do smoking weed on the way down, and I'm banging music. I bump music just because people get in my way so much.
Right. What are you listening to?
I'm listening to hardcore hip hop. Anyone from J to M to Rock Marcy to Griselda to my playlist now. I got some JID. I like JID. He shouted me out in one of his songs.
For real? What did he say?
Yeah. He said something. He said something like go ahead and get it, like the Everest College nigga, or wake up and get up off the couch. He said get up off the couch and get it like the Everest College nigga, or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listen to everybody.
But can you understand when you got artists from different generations that recognize you for being a staple? Like, I know you said it's more infamous than it is famous. Like, this is why people continue. That's why I continue to give you your roses, because it's like you made such a huge impact, and you're forever, I feel like, forever a part of this hip hop culture. And then on top of that, you were an artist as well.
Yeah.
So it's like to steal every like, you represent a certain voice. And for a Jid to, like, you know what I'm saying, for him to jump in here, and he doesn't write that unless he believes people are going to get it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Universally, right?
Yeah.
So I understand why the praise, but I also understand, like, kind of downplaying it, because it's like, well, my life is so much more than just that.
And that's the thing, like, at the end of the day, harping back to the guy who said, you lied about Everest College, and you know what I'm saying, the guy who messaged me that.
Right.
Like, a part of me is thinking, like, I did this commercial and millions of people saw it, and a lot of people followed the instructions and whatnot. What if I had been talking about Jesus?
Man.
And getting saved, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And maybe that might be a call, and maybe God will call me, call me on that, like, I want you to do this, and hopefully I would be obedient, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I always think, like, damn, that was sometimes I think that it was a missed opportunity. I could have been promoting anything, you know what I'm saying? I could have been the Everest College Guy for Jesus. I could have been the Everest College Guy for domestic violence. I could have been the Everest College Guy for child sex trafficking. I could have, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I could have been that voice for anything.
Sure.
And the dynamics weren't the same. It's not like if you're the voice for child trafficking, sex trafficking, you're gonna get as much play as I got.
Right.
There's definitely that capitalistic agenda
at that time too. Like, that wasn't as known as big of an issue as it is now. I feel like, or at least it wasn't given a stage that it's given now. But
it could be for AIDS. It could be for It could be for anything. But as somebody who's been the voice or a voice, and now to me it's more important to be the right voice.
I get
you know
that.
what I'm saying? It's important for me to be the right voice, to leave the right impressions, and it's not even because I want to be liked or anything like that. It's just I see the responsibility, and especially as a self-prescribed servant of God, I see the responsibility, and I don't want to put no messed up ideas in people's head or inspire people to do the wrong things, or you know what I'm saying?
So what does it look like on the other side of things? Because you have a perspective that only somebody who has seen all sides of this can give. But with the generation now, we talked a little bit about TikTok and how, the way that certain things are handled with TikTok and how people are able to push narratives and how they're able to kind of control a generation in terms of the things they're interested in, the things that they're educated by, because this is where they spend most of their time. My question for you is, understanding what you understand now, you were like one of the earlier versions of what it meant to go viral. It just so happened to come through a medium like daytime TV and through that commercial. But for the people who don't understand the pros and the cons of that, on the other side of it, that's the culture now. People are literally creating vertical videos to go viral. Yeah, they're literally saying and doing ridiculous
in-your-face
shit.
Style.
Yeah, going to Walmart, pouring out bottles of milk to go viral, and they may not understand what's on the other end of that. Especially like you said, if it doesn't represent the message that you have today.
Yeah.
What has sort of that experience been for you? Because you talked a little bit about the people who approached you and were angry about the Everest thing, and it's like, fam, my name is not Everest.
And they angry with a grain of salt. Most of them, unless they're unless they have mental issues, they understand. But I don't know, man. To me, it's just a trip. Honestly, man, I'm in the car with you. I'm trying to watch what's going on. I'm these younger kids, it's really their world, and we're just living in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't know, as somebody, like you said, as somebody who's been on both sides or whatever, it's I'm just astounded where we've been as a society and where we've gone the last 10 years, 20 years. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, honestly.
Yeah.
Not to sound like the old guy, but it's like, I've seen fax machines and you know what I'm saying, all that.
Seen a whole different, yeah.
And I remember 8 tracks and stuff, and it's moving so quick now, and I don't know. There's no like guide. We're all just kind of figuring it out as we go. The youth are just figuring it out as we go.
Yeah.
They're figuring out the etiquette. They have a whole new etiquette. You don't call, you text me. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no calling people anymore. Well, it's like a text. Why is this weirdo calling me?
Right. Well, I guess I can let me rephrase the question, because it's more so about, is it everything that people think it is?
Oh no. You know what? I remember this one time I was at my house. I had this big beanbag chair, and I was messing with this was 17 years ago, whatever, a long time ago, and it was right when Mike Epps had made the thing, did the stand-up clowning me, right?
Right.
And so I had a girl I was like kind of messing with, and we were at the bar, and then everybody came to my house after the bar. So we're in my living room. There's probably 6 people at my house, and I'm in the beanbag with a girl, and then I put the Mike Epps thing in. I purposely did. She didn't know he was gonna start talking about me. I'm like, let me put this in.
A little flex.
This will be dope.
Right.
And so we're like, I think she's sitting on me in the beanbag, and we're watching Mike Epps. And then he starts going into, don't you hate that Everest College nigga?
Right.
Hey, get up. He starts doing it. And it's like, as he's talking about me, my hands went from like right here, right above her, right below her breast. And she took my hand and like started putting it down her pants. As Mike Epps is talking about me, right?
What the hell?
Yeah. So like, my point is, it's the cheap thrills. That shit doesn't do nothing for me today, right now. You dig what I'm saying? Like, who gives it, like, it's a funny story or whatever, but there's no substance to that. And yeah, I've got vagina off of playing the Everest College card.
Right.
But I don't want a woman who wants that guy. I want a woman who loves Tunde. You know what I'm saying? I want a woman who appreciates the father that I am.
Yeah.
The loving heart that I have.
Yeah.
And the relationship with God, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that's the bigger
love
picture.
That about me.
That's the bigger picture people don't think about, because I think they're only concerned about
the other stuff. Is very unfulfilling, to answer your question.
Yeah.
The other stuff, again, like I said earlier, at the end of the day, I got to wipe my ass just like everybody else. So at the end of the day, that stuff is fleeting. If you're a piece of shit, it doesn't matter. And you got to look at yourself in the mirror. That's why I trip out when people want nice cars and like maybe it's my age or whatever, but when people want like $200,000 cars, $80,000 cars, I'm like, it's still me in the car.
Yeah.
It's still Tunde. So you know what I'm saying? But like the confidence that I have, I could pull a hoe in forgive my language. I could pull a female in any car.
Try to get my YouTube canceled out here.
Yeah, my bad. I could pull a YouTube with no car. I might could take a female from a dude who's pushing the range with no car.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Not to brag. What I'm saying is it's still you. Yeah. Whether you're a good human being, a bad human being, if I'm driving a Maserati or a Ferrari or a Lambo or whatever, I'm still looking at myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The car doesn't make me, car shouldn't give me more confidence.
And I think a lot of people are living in a way where their vision of who they want to become in this as a musician, as a content creator, I think their vision is like, my life will finally mean something when I become viral. My life will finally mean something when this person validates me. I'll be able to tell my family, like, I told you I made the right decision to get into music because look at this person that is famous, that is acknowledging what I'm doing. And on that level, I get it. But then I also get the other side of that, is that sometimes the worst thing that could happen to somebody is their dream come true, because they're going to ask the question, now what? And was it all worth it? And these are questions that if you don't answer in the beginning as you embark on this journey of what am I actually doing this for? Same thing happens on a YouTube space. Like, if I only made this channel for views, my question would be, what is my purpose ultimately? If it's just to get views, if it's just, you know, and I'm not saying that like that's not valuable, but if that's the only thing there, how shallow would my life have to be? Who would I attract in that process? And would I want to be around those kind of folks my entire life? So when I think about like when I put, like, for instance, our video, when I put that video together, I spent like almost 20 something odd hours editing that, scripting it, putting it all together, putting the story together. And I was so proud of that video. And my brain was like, man, this should do a certain type of viewership. And when it didn't, it was like, yo, I'm giving some grade A stories. Like, folks are sharing and disclosing. That wasn't the original intent, though. When I did it, I wanted to tell that story. I had curiosity because I'm from that generation. But the other part of me that is still in this space has the questions about, like, what am I doing this for? And every time it happens, God is reminding me, you're here to create the content that you wish somebody else would have made for you. So when you stay there and you're centered, and I think it's easy for us to get pulled in many different directions, when you're able to know that you are, as you said earlier, like, I'm Tunde. No matter where I'm at, no matter what car I'm in, I am who I am. Yeah. I'm Curtis. No matter where you put me at, no matter what house.
If you're sleeping on a cot or you're sleeping in the most luxurious, walled-off Astoria room, here. It's still you.
It's still me.
And it doesn't devalue. What I'm saying is, if I see you, Curtis King, in a Nova or like a terrible, like whatever, a bucket,
right?
Or if I see you in a Rolls Royce, should that affect the respect I give you?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? Or if I see you with a gold chain on, or platinum chain, diamond iced out with gold teeth, like whatever, should I give you more respect?
I'm more skeptical if you do change that energy. And you know what I'm saying? If somebody does change that energy, I'm more looking at it like, and I think a lot of folks in that come across my content, what they say and what they are actually moved by are two different things. And I whenever I make skits, I poke fun at like the guys that are like super salesy, that are promising to change people's lives, and all you got to do is just go in this funnel and be a part of this email and be I always like kind of poke fun at it, because I'm like, I hope the audience is asking the questions that those who know better are asking. And if not, let's just ask the question so that you are exposed to it, and you can hopefully make decisions that are much more wiser for yourself. Not to say I know what that is, but sometimes you got to go through.
Just being informed, right?
Just being informed. But sometimes I have to stop myself because I'm recognizing that I'm trying to play judge and jury for somebody else's decision making.
Okay.
But if I share it and I say, have you ever asked this question? And then they're like, no. But that changes the way I look at this whole situation. Good. That's all I had to do was plant a seed. Mm-hmm. Not to be manipulative, not to be disruptive. Maybe sometimes be disruptive. But for the most part, just trying to make sure that we're thinking and we don't allow people who have the best presentation to determine how we think and how we should move. Like I always ask people, challenge me on whatever I tell you, but make sure you've done your homework because I've done my homework. Challenge me and I'm all good for that. You can have your opinion. That's beautiful. I want you to. I want free thinkers in here, not people who are clones of Curtis. But if you're going to do that, recognize that I've done my research as well. And if I have an opportunity where you're contradiction that research and you have some legitimate information, good shit. I want to learn because I'm a sponge. Teach me something.
You want the information.
I want it just like it's almost to the point where some people can't take negative criticism about their music or their stuff. And I'm like, dog, I've been waiting for you. Because coming up and making music around people who are indifferent about what you're doing, don't believe in what you're doing, the last thing you're going to do is get an honest feedback. Because even if they say a song is trash, you ask them, why is it trash? I don't know. It's just not my thing. I can't really do too much with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that now I'm in a headspace where I'm mature enough to not get hurt by it, but just be like, all right, I see what, okay, I got it. Somebody said, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this right here, we're going to acknowledge it now. This person right here, that channel that you see is a scam. The channel that you see that just comments on the video, that is a scam.
That's a scam?
That's a scam. Somebody comment on another video. Not Holla Sounds. He just telling me about it.
Oh,
Viral Beats. It happened to Viral Beats. Oh, Viral Beats. Go check it out. They're doing it to me too. Somebody just ran a scam where they're asking you to be a part of a Telegram. I just wanted to announce that really quick. But we got questions here from the audience if you're down to take some of these.
Yeah, definitely. Viral
Beats said, did Babatunde grow up in Phoenix? If so, what high school did you go to?
I went to Shadow Mountain. We was dope at basketball. The Shadow Mountain Matadors. My daughter went. She got the chip. I didn't get the chip.
Oh man.
Bibby and them got the chip the next year. I was a senior. Bibby was a junior. Next year they brought on Green. Oh my God, I'm getting old. I can't remember.
It's all good.
But Nick Green. I'm sorry, Nick. Nick's Green. My boy. Anyways, okay. They brought on Nick Green. They won it.
He said North Side.
Mountain.
He said North
But
Side.
It was cool because me and Bibby always liked playing like inner city kids because we were some of the only black people in our on our team.
Right.
So when we would play the Centrals and the South Mountains and all them, we loved it because man, we were just as athletic as them. So like we were, but it was funny. When we would play the athletic teams, all the white players would get shook and nervous. Like our white big men, they'd be, "Oh my God, I got to go up against
Yeah.
But those of us that were athletic were like, "Oh hell yeah!" We were licking our chops. Like I can't wait to see Central and South Mountain.
Man.
And those, man, we held our own. They didn't beat us. They know Carl Hayden didn't beat us.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Rhymes and Gosa and all them.
I'm about to say I might have been one of them scared high schoolers going up against Tyson Chandler.
You had to go up against Tyson Chandler? Woo, that's different.
I looked at him and I said, like, I remember Tyson Chandler. I was going to Paramount High and I was on the basketball team, and Tyson Chandler walked in that, and I had never saw anybody that tall in my life. Right, I had met Magic Johnson at that time.
Yeah.
Never saw anybody that tall in my life. He was tall. He was agile. He was dunking. Like the Tyson Chandler that folks have saw in the last 5 to 10 odd years. I mean, I don't know if he's in the league anymore. Mm-hmm. That Tyson Chandler was dunking on people, and I was like, thank God Coach ain't put me in that game. That was not the sport for me. I didn't look like the way I look at music, and I get like aggressive about the competition. I get aggressive about the nature of making music, basketball was not that for me. I looked at him and I said, "Oh hell no! Somebody else guarding his ass." I am.
That's crazy. You was a center.
I had to because I was the tallest one on the team.
Hey, real quick before I forget, I smoke weed, so I'll be forgetting shit.
You good?
Thought. Another, I got a name drop just because you said Tyson Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
The day that All Eyes on the first time I heard All Eyes on Me, 96, right? I think 96. Was it 96? Anyways, the day the week it came out, probably the second day, probably came out the day before. We were at me, Bibby, Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson and Bibby are real close. I think they're like best friends. But this is the first time Steven Jackson came out to Phoenix, right? Phoenix, I think Virginia, Bibby's mom brought him out because Bibby was working out with the Suns, and she's like, "Well, come on, you work out with us, you try out for the Suns." You know what I'm saying? And then afterwards, he ended up getting a I don't know how many long contract with the Suns. That was his like in the league. That was his in the league. So we're at our homeboy's Jason's house. We're listening to All Eyes on Me, and everybody. There's a bunch of us there. There's me, Jason, Matt, Mike, Steven, maybe a couple others. And we're sitting there. We're chilling. We're about to go. I think we're about to go play hoops. But everybody's talking, so the speaker sits on the floor, and my head's on the speaker, like trying to hear it because I'm listening to I Got My Mind Made Up, with the Red and Meth and all that. And so I'm trying to hear the words. It's my first time hearing it, but I'm such a big Red and Meth fan that I'm like, yo, I need to hear, So I'm like, everybody shut up. I'm trying to put my head in the speaker. And subsequently, me and Steven Jackson kind of get into it. I don't even know if he'll remember this. I remember it, though, like yesterday. He wasn't a fan of Redman, so like I'm trying to listen, and then when Redman starts, he's like, "Man, see, Redman, he messed up the whole song," and I was hurt. I was like, "What are you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? So me and Steven Jackson are sitting there, kind of arguing. This is my first time meeting him too. First time I met him. We're at Jason's house, so Jason lived around the corner from me. I'm comfortable there. He's like the new guy, but he's like 6'8".
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's used to, He's the alpha personality, you know what I'm saying? And I consider myself an alpha personality. So I ain't gonna back down, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck how tall you are.
Right.
But he said that and it hurt my feelings. I'm what the fuck you mean? And we're going back and forth. And I think I remember him saying like, yeah, well, when me and Mike make the league, we're gonna be chilling like Tupac with bitches and drink and smoke. We're gonna be chilling like that. If you want to be with that weird shit like with Redman on some lyrical, I'm like, yo, I just like the way you rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I know that's your guy. That's Redman is like that's your favorite rapper
Redman's
of all
in my
time.
top. Yeah.
We never got to your top 5, by the way. You kind of skated right by that one.
But I don't know. Anyway, I was just thinking about your anecdote about that reminded me of me and Steven Jack. Steven's cool though.
Yeah.
He took my money like a year later playing craps. Crapped out at his house. I had my girl with me and everything.
Oh,
she
no.
She watched Steven just take all my money. And he's signed by the NBA, and I'm struggling. I think I gave him like my last $40 or $80.
You need that.
I was
Steve,
so
come
hurt.
on, Steven. Like, you ain't need that.
Nah, he's a cool dude though.
Man,
good guy.
He's evolved a lot too through this time there. Well, I want to sort of kind of bring it to a place. Okay. Because I know that
man, put some beats on. I'll kick a freestyle.
You about to rap on? You about to rap on?
I got so many.
Can we?
I got so many verses in my head as being a rapper, and honestly, I think by the time you're in your late 30s, if you're a fan of hip hop your whole life, everybody should have a dope 16.
Gotta have that sitting on.
Everybody,
you gotta
should have a dope 16. Like Beyonce should have a dope 16. I know Erykah Badu got
she got
bunch of, you know what I'm saying?
She got 128. She got 500 bars and running if you need that.
And I'm naming artists, but I think even like a Gabrielle Union should have a dope 16.
Yeah.
Anybody, like if you've been a fan of hip hop for so long.
Yeah. Even if it ain't your 16. Like,
you gotta something you bit. Like, okay, I started this like Rakim and then I changed it, made it my, whatever. You gotta have a dope 16.
What's one of your favorite, before we get started, like what's one of your favorite verses?
Favorite verses of Redman or just anybody?
Anybody. I would expect it to probably be a Redman verse, but what's your favorite verse?
Man, I'm telling you, Choosing Fees. Right now, I just love how Choosing Fees, Rock Marciano Choosing Fees is so incredible. It's one verse for the whole song, but the way he's talking to the girl and rhyming and his swag, like it's just incredible.
That's how I feel about
so dope.
Andre 3000 Elevators.
Okay.
I was in the mall the other day, heard a call from the other way. Nigga was saying something, talking about smoke something. Remember me from school? Nah, not really. But he had he had an expression on his face looking silly, and he kept asking me, what kind of car you drive? I know you paid. I know you got buku hope from all them songs that y'all have made. And I replied that I've been going through the same thing that he has. True, I got more fans than the average man, but not enough loot to last me to the end of the week. I live by the beat like you live check to check. If it don't move your feet, then I don't eat, so we like neck to neck. Yes, we didn't come a long way like them slim-ass cigarettes from Virginia. This ain't gonna stop, so we just gonna continue.
You know
he
what?
was in such a special zone when that came out. Man. Sheesh.
You know what? We need to come up with that. Give me a verse. Because like I was kind of speaking to you earlier about it, but the whole, because there's rappers that I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
As their fans, win me over with a verse. I love lyrical rap, so like you got one verse to win me over. Because there's certain, I'm not gonna name no rappers, but there's certain rappers, like, here's the thing. After a while, my rule was like, I'm not listening to no rappers I rap better than.
That's such a rapper thing to say too.
Nigga, when I go to the NBA, when I watch the NBA on TV, or if I go to the game,
right,
they're better than me, homie. Even the WNBA players, they're better than me. They're gonna make more free throws.
Right.
They're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm watching professionals. So like, and this is when I was trying to rap too.
Right.
So when I started, when I was in a rap group and stuff, like, man, I ain't listening to no rapper I think I'm better than, or I know I'm better. You know how it is. It's all bravado.
No, I get it.
But so there's a lot of rappers I just like. Come 2000, I was just like, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no.
Right.
Like, if you're a B rapper or whatever, or I just don't think you're skilled, you got one verse. So anyways, my point is, I think it would be cool to do a segment to where like, all right, I don't fuck with him. Give me one verse to change my mind.
Right.
And just kind of like you did, like I was already won over by. I love Outkast. Like, that's
yeah. You named somebody earlier, and I'm not gonna bring them up, but I was like, I don't got no verses from them. Like I got songs that I think are really special by them, but it's just not. That's just not like, I'm not gonna bring you a verse. That's not the person that, you know. They always have the example, if Tupac came back from the past and he was like, play me somebody right now that you think that would inspire me, and like, who would you play him? And the first name that come to my mind is Kendrick. Because I feel like that's like the closest that, because I know he's an East Coast head, but he's also like, he's very West Coast, very Oakland, very like Bay Area. Like there's a lot of like Marin Projects. Like there's a lot of things that he's influenced by. I think of a Kendrick and I'm like, Kendrick has rapped with Bay Area artists. His favorite rapping growing up was E40. E40, yeah, my home.
Kendrick's favorite artist
growing
rapper
up
was E40?
He said it in a song. He said in one of the songs on Good Kid, Mad City, he said growing up, one of my favorite rappers was E40, and then when you hear he has an East Coast lyricism approach and he's a West Coast aesthetic, Kendrick to me would just be like the one I would show Pac first. I would show him a few different songs, especially because he pays homage to him. That's how I would kind of go for it. But so what's up? Should I play a beat? You give him a verse and we say some final words?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I would play Kendrick too. Kendrick's the king to me. He's, I don't call nobody goats, but he's a king. Like, he's, after Cube, he's the most important figure for me coming from the West.
Yeah.
Snoop's cool. Don't get me wrong, I love Snoop. He brought something that Cube hadn't brought. I think Pac brought sex appeal that Cube didn't have. But I think, rap-wise, nobody's seeing Ice Cube on the West Coast except for Kendrick. Like, that's just how
that was your feeling.
In terms of influence and saying that gangster shit, and nobody was cursing before Ice Cube really like that. NWA, gangsta, and Nobody ever brought it like that.
Right.
When I first heard Gangsta Gangsta, I was like, can they say all this?
Even even the influence of No Vaseline is like,
yeah,
sheesh. Like, oh, that's what a diss song was supposed to sound like. Got it. All right, so I got some beats here. You tell me, my feelings will not be hurt. I got some beats in here. If you hear something and you want me to run it back, let me know. I'll turn the volume up a little bit, and then we'll just play from here. Not that one. That's not even my beat. Just tell me next, and I'll go to the next one. It's coming down to a breakdown right here.
Go next.
Next one. All right, cool.
I like that beat, but go next one.
Next one. All right.
That's like RZA-ish.
Ironically, huh? After everything I've said. Next one, okay.
Got a right to.
Yeah.
It's like it's not like.
I got some more. I got some stuff from Stolen too. That might be more like, because I didn't make these with intent somebody rapping over them. I just got these sitting in here. Let me see. What is this?
That shit's dope though.
Thank you. What is this? Oh, what about this? Hold on. This is a straightforward one. This might be more straightforward.
Like Madonna peeing situation. Your ass don't wanna be and got your mama fiending. Draw blood like piranhas feeding. Fuck a bomb threat, blow the whole Coliseum. Reason is arbitrary, I got the arsenary cause my verses vary. Lyrical mercenary, carry or pull more cat than canaries on Warner Bros. I'm warning hoes, unaffordable, I'm gonna blow. Like my high tops are quarter low. Find hoes with afros and cornrows adorable. Sexual organ, scoring like Jordan. So you might see Nike invite me to do commercials with Spike Lee. Strike like lightning, but slightly more brightly. Feeling feisty, bite me, just don't take me lightly. My mic is mighty, I write and bitch niggas bite me. So I dress them in 90s, another teddies like Riley. Wedgie, tidy whities, fly betties excite me. But I had to let them pass because they asked too pricey. Yo, hold up.
Let's go.
I like that shit, it's just dope.
Thank you.
Yo. Hold up.
You got more.
Yo. I run it down, ruddy punks out of town. Crash a party with Bacardi and Crown and Bobby Brown. Girl on the rebound, wanna be down. She smile, me smile, says she ready to leave now. My style be on some grown shit, riding my own dick. It's in my mama name, but I own it. Ain't got enough money to loan it, and no, I'm not homophobic, I just don't condone it. And you know this, shit, I don't know what to tell it, or own it to sell it, I bone with a helmet. Make Elvis jealous, my pelvic so overdeveloped. Only 21 says she's into older fellas, so I know I can nail it. Extra mustard and hold the relish. Holy hell, she was singing wedding bells when she told me she fell. I grabbed her by her fucking ponytail and said, don't get too cozy, you don't know me so well. You can only phone me when you lonely, then bone me and bail, homie.
The multis on crazy.
All right, next time I come, I'm gonna have something prepared.
Look. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love the conversation. First of all, we gotta give props where props is due. We gotta give props where props is due. Appreciate you even doing that. Look, I'm telling you right now, I thought we was gonna make music today. But I also wanted to respect the fact that you drove so far out here, and I love being able to catch up with you. It's like family I didn't even know I had.
Word.
But I love the conversation. But I know, these folks probably came here today because I was talking a big game on Friday, like, oh, yeah, we about to make some music. We about to da-da-da. And then Saturday came and you was like, man, I got some things I want to talk about. I was like, you know what? I want to respect that. But next time we got to for sure cook up something. That's what these folks, they love it. They love the process. I can even send you some beats out to kind of work on stuff beforehand.
Word. But
these are like, it's like being in a room with gamers. And they're watching people talking about gaming. They're like, can y'all game though? Can y'all?
Oh, okay. That's your audience.
That's my audience. Yeah. My audience, like, they already know, like, even after this, I'm going to I haven't ate today, so I'm going to eat some food, and I'm going to come back. We're going to do Mixing Monday. I'm going to mix some songs, do some graphic design stuff. Then Tuesdays are Sample Tuesdays. I'm going to make a beat with Aaron Barber's sample. Thursday is going to be make a song and a beat in 3 hours. That I think will be so much more fun to do with you. Okay. Because we get to focus on the things that we are focused on, right? I'll make the beat, you do the lyrics, I can build around you, and you can make decisions in real time like, can we do the drums like this? Because I like it'll fit my style even more. Okay. But next time I'm gonna have the booth set up for you and all that good stuff. But we want to. I'm telling you right now, they love the conversation. Shout out to everybody who was in here chiming in.
Thanks for checking us out, y'all.
They want to hear you rap, man. They want to hear some rappy raps. But they also do respect the perspective, and I do as well. And I appreciate you being so transparent.
Word. Yeah, I appreciate you having me, man. Let's make it like every other month at least.
Come on now.
I'll come through every other month. We'll cook up. Maybe I'll bring some artists. Maybe you come see me. Just so y'all know, because I'm at Curtis's studio. Everybody, I'm in Temecula, and Curtis got a fly house, and he's doing good. I'm just kidding. I don't want to overstate, but no, he's doing really good, and I'm impressed. I'm the same. Both Aquariuses. Like a week away, whatever. I got the same setup. You know what I'm saying? I got the same home studio. We both shoot with the same camera. We've learned and stuff.
Shout out to the GH5.
So you got to come maybe see me too.
I'm down.
But maybe we'll make it something where if I have if I get a good artist or something, and I want to pair the artist with some beats or whatever, because I got there's some heat in Phoenix. And so maybe we could collab where literally all three of us jump on a record.
I'm about to say literally and figuratively speaking.
Oh yeah. Pun intended, no pun intended. There's heat in Phoenix.
Y'all came out here and said 78. It's cold out here. I said what? This ain't cold. But no, I'm down for that. I'm down to make that trek. You've already made it 2 times. That's nothing. I know.
I'll come back. I like it because especially in the summer because it's so much cooler here. In the summer. I might move in the summer, man.
Come on, man. Chop it up. Yeah, come on out here a few days. We'll cook up. But I think either way, man, these people appreciate your time.
Yeah. I appreciate their time checking us out too.
Absolutely. You got any final messages for the good people out here that are tuned in? Obviously grateful for your time, and you said you're grateful. But is there any final messages you got? Especially because this is an independent hip hop community of music producers and artists who really believe in what they're doing in themselves. And to me, you represent so much of that independent free thinking that we need to be successful in what we do.
I appreciate that. My last words would be, if it don't point to Jesus, what's the point? The next time you get mad at somebody, the next time it's a pride thing, I don't know. I've been trying to live my life. If it don't point to Jesus, what's the point? In this world of I said it before. Attention, likes, all that is currency.
Right.
People wanted to point here. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. And even I get caught up in it. I post my picture every morning. I go up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So even I can get caught up in it. But at the end of the day, I try to remind myself, if it don't point. At the end of the day, if it doesn't point to Jesus, then what's the point? If you're not inspiring somebody to know God, what's the point? If you're distracting somebody from God, what's the point in that? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That just kind of always balances me out, and I've been trying to last 6-8 months been trying to really have that as a theme in my life.
I love that.
Just to keep it humble.
I love that, and I would say go Suns, but I ain't about to say all
go
that.
Suns.
I ain't saying all that. Y'all don't need.
Hey man, we got Durant, man.
Y'all
you
don't
in
need no
some
other
trouble.
encouragement.
Next time you want to, let me know if you want, and I'll try to get tickets. Even if I have to buy them, we'll go see a Suns game when they play in the Lakers, man.
I don't know.
We can wear different jerseys and.
I'm
not even a Suns fan like that. I'm not even a Suns fan like that.
Your cousin is though.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the excitement because when he was out here last time, he was like Suns to the death.
He was mad. He said they broke up my team.
They low-key did because
he liked Bridges and
Bridges.
He was
Bridges
part of
that's part of your core. And
Yeah.
look, this is my theory. I'm gonna shut up after this. You can't break up the core and expect the same results. I know Katie is she is a monumental game changer, but the chemistry is something that takes time. Like even with the Jordan era, they got lucky that some of these teams were just not as good anywhere near the hemisphere of the Bulls. But they had times where there was, the first championship compared to the third one, they're a better core. They're a better team.
Okay.
They're trying to make this happen in half a season, and I think we got the same problem as the Lakers, except our main focus has been around for the last 5 years. Right, like they
talk about LeBron.
Talking about LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
So health is the thing that's going to kick our ass before anybody else. But I just know that series.
I don't think the Lakers can close out a close game. Honestly, no. I'm just.
You want to know why? 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 Because of somebody named Westbrook. You allowing that to be your decision maker?
Okay.
And now that's the Clippers' problem.
Well, we'll see now. We'll see going forward. But
Tyronn Lue ain't afraid to bench somebody. That's different.
True that.
Because you're not paying them $40 million no more. You got them for cheap.
I'll throw some criticism at the Suns a little bit. Like Booker, great, but I don't fear Booker in a way that I fear some all-stars. You know what I'm saying?
He's a killer, but he's an undersized killer too.
Yeah, and he just doesn't evoke fear in me like Stephen Curry. There's a fear there.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like fuck, he could do it, and then
he
Clay
can miss
too,
20 shots
and more. Yeah.
And
I don't fear Phoenix like that.
Yeah.
But I could be, I've been wrong, and I'm not on the court, so.
Yeah, and I feel like we both about to get hit with something that's like left field. I really, man, I'll be sitting here like feeling like Day and next Friday. I hope you don't get it. I hope y'all don't get it. When I look at these Dallas Mavericks,
yeah,
they got the likings of everything that you see. One of those, those championship teams that sneak a championship.
Yeah.
And you don't see them for a few years.
No.
Kind of like the Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors got in with Kawhi that one year, and it's like, ooh, y'all snuck that one. You got, they had to get injured over there in Golden State, and y'all got that. I feel like this could be a sneaker year where somebody sneak a championship out because everybody else beating up each other in the West. I feel like the Boston Celtics would not be a surprise to win the finals this year.
Yeah, that'd be a good pick.
Because if you get past the Bucks,
but I think Steel sharpens steel on the West. Either Steel sharpens steel, or they're gonna be more tired.
They're gonna
it's gonna be more.
That's a dog fight.
Yeah,
ain't nobody getting out of there alive.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun.
Man, either way,
fun to watch.
Well, yeah, I'm saying I'll let you know about that Lakers Suns game. I can't go to my first Suns game and the Lakers getting whooped. I don't know how I feel about the rest of that weekend after that. It's too early to tell, but man, I appreciate you not only just as a human being, but now as a friend, as someone that I feel comfortable going to for advice and just understanding this game from different sides, and you inspire all of us, man, in that you have put your mission front and center and have not let everything else that you have been known for. You know what I'm saying? With the commercial be the thing that you're leading with. I love the fact that you're like, nah, now with this platform that I've already had, I'm going to push this message. And that's something that we can all relate to because, we're human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's all about, at the end of the day, if it don't point to Jesus, what's the point?
There it is.
For me, at least. So
I'm with it.
God bless everybody. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Like
Always.
I said, I'm gonna come back every other month or so, and let's get it cooking.
Let's do it. Next time we
Let's
cook
do
it.
it.
We're gonna for sure cook. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all. I will be back here in about 2 hours for the Mixing Monday, and we'll get to cooking on that. But outside of that, thank y'all so much for joining us so early. It's got me now thinking about a 2 stream a day post. I don't know. We'll see. But
double it up, man.
So you can't do that with an
Get
Aquarius.
those 2 a days, man. Those 2 a days.
See, now I'm just stacking my plate up, and then when I burn out, everybody gonna be like, "We saw that coming." But much love to y'all. I will see y'all soon. Have a good one. Peace out.